In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
What's up, guys? Hit that like button.
Yeah. This is Blunt Politics. The only podcast where we don't talk about politics. We be about politics. And our mission statement is to empower, educate, and encourage everyone to speak out against fascism. Speak out against injustice. And fight for freedom and equality for everyone. This is Blunt Politics. And we ain't stopping till they put us in the grave. We ain't gonna be quiet. And we ain't gonna be scared. And we ain't gonna go along with the crowd. This is Blunt Politics.
As usual, what do you say we just hop right into things? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Blunt Politics. It is the 1st of March, 2026. You have officially made it another month on this planet, and you are blessed for having done so. I appreciate you being here, sharing your time with me. Please hit that like button. Make it worth your time. Make it worth the while. Subscribe to the channel. You can give it a shot. Give it a little bit of time. First time hearing it. If it's your first time being here, you know what I mean? You like what you're hearing. If you like what you're seeing after a little bit, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's easy to do so. Takes about a second and a half, depending on how slow you are, how quick your reaction time is nowadays. But we are in day 2 of Donald Trump's biggest attempt yet to distract from his involvement in the criminalities, in the sexual assaults of the minors in the Epstein files. And we're going to be diving into kind of all of the updates that I could possibly get into. Hopefully by the end of the show, you guys will know as much as I do. And again, this is coming in rapidly. Things are changing kind of on the spot. I know the fog of war still hasn't cleared all the way. So take everything we hear with a grain of salt, all of the updates with a grain of salt. I do appreciate all of the mods, as usual. What's going on, guys? How's everybody? What's up, Nostros? What's up, Nola? What's up, Teague? What's going on, Karen? What's up, Bethany? How are you guys? What's up, Forever Young? What's everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch? Very much appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit the respective buttons on the platforms that do the good things for the channels that I ask you to do. Because we don't do anything, we don't try to sell you any bullshit. We don't try to give you any fake products that seemingly changed my life. And because I got them last night, I am demanding upon you to buy those products. None of my content is hidden behind a paywall. I just ask if you have $1 or $2. If you have a Venmo account, you can take a picture, send it there. You can send a couple bucks in the chat, sign up for a YouTube membership, which I believe is under $3 for the month. Or take a look at the Patreon at patreon.com. There's 3 different levels on there. And if one of them fits your, kind of financial avenue, then please think about kicking in. I do appreciate you guys. So let's get into a little bit of what's been going on lately. I'm sure you guys have heard about the fact. Here, let me throw these on the screens. I'm going to take you guys off for a second. Appreciate you guys. Let me throw this on here because I'm sure you guys have heard now that the blood of U.S. servicemen and women has been spilt in this conflict. Again, Donald Trump's biggest attempt yet to try to cover up his involvement in the Epstein files. In its second day, the attacks still continue. Iran has continued to strike back. We've seen not only U.S. service members killed in this conflict, we've seen mass casualties in Israel. Obviously, the death toll in Iran continues to grow. So we'll be taking a look at all of that. We got articles, we got clips, we got video, we got the whole thing to take a look at. So I'm hoping my computer doesn't crash with the amount of tabs that I have currently open right now. So much so that I kind of forget what I've put up so far as what this show is going to consist of, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of mis and disinformation floating around. So again, like I said, take everything you hear with a grain of salt. But this is kind of what we feared, right? This is, what Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump, as you'll hear in just a second, were kind of buttering the bread, so to speak, as far as what we knew was going to happen as this continued, the ongoing strikes, putting our servicemen and women in harm's way continuously. It was just a matter of time before either, the air defense systems or the retaliatory strikes on our bases led to exactly what you're seeing on the screen here. I do appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Thank you for all the people donated in the chat there. Thank you, Wes. Very much appreciate the 333. And again, this is from Axios, and this is 3 U.S. service members were killed in action and 5 more seriously wounded as part of the American and Israeli strikes on Iran. U.S. Central Command announced Sunday morning. The big picture here by Axios says that the casualties are the first confirmed American combat deaths since U.S. and Israel launched strikes on Iran Saturday. The confirmation comes as Iran retaliates with ballistic missiles and drones against U.S. bases and allies across the Middle East, as we covered yesterday. If anybody tuned in yesterday, I appreciate you for doing so. Here's the state of play again. Several of the troops sustained minor shrapnel injuries and concussions and were being returned to duty, CENTCOM said in a statement as of 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The military was withholding the identities of the dead until 24 hours after next of kin are notified. And again, the first thoughts that came to my mind when I heard this, doing the research and the studies of World War II and, just history, military history in general, and knowing, the process and knowing the just what it takes to go and notify the next of kin, as they say here in this, and what that looks like, and the heartbreak, not only in the side of the military soldiers that have to go break the news to the family, but obviously the family that has to, endure that news that they're now getting notified, whether it be by phone or whether it be by, people in person. You know what I mean? So this is a quick catch up here. The strikes followed the collapse of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks in Geneva last week. As we continue to talk about, Israeli strikes killed Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. That's another one of the big headlines, another one of the big stories. Obviously, we'll be diving into a little bit more about that in a little bit as well. Iran has retaliated with missiles and drones aimed at U.S. allies where American troops are stationed, including Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Jordan, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. More than 200 have died in Iran following U.S. and Israeli strikes, according to the Iranian Red Crescent Society. Multiple news outlets reported, and of course, we can only expect that death toll to rise as, of course, the rubble is being sifted through, and of course, the attacks continue to happen. What to watch for, again, according to Axios here, President Trump warned Saturday on Truth Social that bombing would continue uninterrupted through the week or as long as necessary. So, again, one of the major detractors, obviously, with that we've been talking about as far as conducting a mission like this and how it wasn't going to be like Caracas. It wasn't going to be like the Venezuelan mission. In a lot of ways, it really is, kind of, to tell you the truth. But as far as the danger posed to our servicemen and women, it was going to be a lot more dangerous. But we continue to take a look at that and look at who else continues to be put in harm's way. If that continues to grow as far as the toll on our side, obviously we continue to look at the toll on the Iranian side continuing to grow. But there's been a few of these kind of mass casualty events. Here's another one that people have been taking a look at. This is by the BBC here. 9 dead in missile attack on Israel as Iran strikes region. This is, again, as the Iranian leadership, what's left of it, has said they are going to continue the attacks to the best and the fullest of their ability. And that's what we've seen so far. They have continued to attack different spots all over the place, and we'll continue to take a look at those different strikes. But here's just a little bit of this strike here in Israel. Some photographs, as you can see here, of the carnage left afterwards. Israel accused Iran of targeting innocent civilians. It says afterwards here, at least 9 people have been killed and 27 injured in a missile strike on the Israeli city of Bet Shemesh. My apologies if I am mispronouncing that. Emergency services say the attack comes as Iran launched strikes across the Middle East in response to a massive and ongoing attack against it by U.S. and Israel. 1 person had been killed in Abu Dhabi, capital of the United Arab Emirates. And a death has also been reported in Kuwait. Dozens more people have been injured in strikes across the region. Thousands of flights have been grounded to and from the region in one of the most serious disruptions to global travel since the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's a little bit of video showing debris across the floor of a damaged Dubai airport. And again, we'll be continuing to look at a lot more of this footage. There's a lot more, accounts that have kind of compiled some of this footage. There's YouTube accounts, so we'll be diving into all of it. But here's just a little bit. I think there's about 10 seconds here. So clearly, obviously, it doesn't take much to realize the disruption and the chaos that would ensue in an airport, considering that stuff was going on. But yeah, we've seen now mass casualty events all over the place. Across the Gulf, Iran has used ballistic missiles and drones to launch large-scale attacks on U.S. allies and assets after Iran's supreme leader was killed in the ongoing U.S.-Israel air offensive launched on Saturday morning. In a post on X, the Israel Defense Forces accused Iran of directly firing missiles towards Beit Shemesh, west of Jerusalem from killing innocent civilians. Officials say a building where people were sheltering from air raids was hit. Dozens of rescuers were at the scene in the attack, searching for people feared to be under the rubble. Megan David Adam, paramedic Dror Eni, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. I know I am. We saw destroyed homes, flames, and smoke rising from residential buildings, wrecked cars, and significant chaos at the scene. Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait, all home to U.S. military base, said they had intercepted missiles fired towards them, but falling debris appeared to have caused widespread damage. And again, a lot of this is still being speculated on, whether it was debris in some instances, whether it was direct hit from a drone or a missile in some cases. So again, as the fog of war continues to settle in place, we need to take everything that we hear with a grain of salt. I'm sure a lot of these numbers are going to continue to grow. That's just what happens when you see a continuous bombardment in such a wide-ranging kind of attack and wide-ranging conflict like we're seeing right now. Just the number of different countries that have seen missiles having to be intercepted and strikes directly upon their soil. I mean, it's just is this how we envision peace in the Middle East? Again, is this how you enact peace in the Middle East? Doesn't seem too peaceful to me from the peace president, the guy that promised that America was not going to get involved in any more foreign wars, that promised his MAGA cult, his MAGA base, that he was going to be America first. And again, we weren't going to worry about all that nonsense and bullshit until we rebuilt our country. So far, we're continuing to see people struggle in this country. Not only that, but the effects of this conflict, whether it be on energy prices or the price of oil, the price of gas at the pump, continue to be speculated on. And we'll talk about that a little later on as well, because there's a lot of secondary impacts to this. We'll continue to talk about the Strait of Hormuz, whether that's open, how much that's going to be affected. We're already looking at like insurances from a lot of these companies that are shipping through that area going up to the tune of it's going to cost them some $250,000 to some $400,000 more per shipping, like per trip to go through there. And I guarantee those costs are going to be passed down to the consumer, you and I, at the end of the day, as we've seen happen time and time again. But want to continue to report on all of the impacts, all of the instances around here. But as we say, take everything that we say here and see here with a grain of salt. There's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of mis and disinformation as we continue to see out there. Not only that, but people that are trying to do accurate reporting, but have maybe heard from a source that isn't reliable, whatever it may be. Just, do your due diligence. Make sure that we're reporting the facts as we hear them from reliable sources, from reputable sources. I do appreciate you guys here with me going through all of this. I know this is difficult for people that have, like I said, grandsons, granddaughters, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers now serving in the U.S. military, possibly stationed, possibly in action in these areas right now, whether it's at the bases, whether it's on the aircraft carriers, whether it's on the assault craft, whatever it may be. My heart goes out to anybody that has anybody directly related to or affiliated with, this region or the attacks going on as far as being, in the U.S. military being used as pawns in Donald Trump's game, again, in the biggest, obfuscation, the biggest kind of defense and kind of look the other way action to take the focus off of his involvement in the Epstein files that we've seen to date. So again, my heart and hats off to anybody serving in that area, and my heart goes out to anybody that's affected by this. I know there's a lot of people out there that are, have a secondary aspect, a secondary affiliation to, again, whether it be cousins or nieces, nephews, like I said, that are thinking about them at a time like this. So I want to make sure that I let you know that my heart is with you as well. So, all right, let's dive on to a little bit of some other chaos that we've seen come from here. This was posted by Republicans Against Trump on Twitter, breaking at least 9 dead near the U.S. consulate in Karachi, Pakistan, after people stormed the compound in protest of the killing of Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Here's a couple of videos from this instance as well. Let's see if we can dive into this and talk about it afterwards. And again, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of a few examples of, U.S. embassies and, people trying to storm into them, showing their displeasure for the attacks. I know we've seen protests in favor of this, much like we saw in Venezuela. The Republicans continue to kind of point towards the the population of Iran that are ecstatic, that are celebrating the death of the the former Ayatollah there, because of the the death and the destruction that he perpetrated upon his people, and rightfully so. But what did we see happen just after that took place in Venezuela? Was the reprisals, was the retribution, was the shootings and killings on the streets of Venezuela. So again, be careful what you wish for in this circumstance, and I would be very careful of using the the rightful fucking celebration and joy from people that have been oppressed for so long by this regime. In this instance, seeing that they have now been kind of lifted, they're now freed, at least for the the very small time being, from the Ayatollah's thumb, then be very careful on how this is now going to impact those people, because we still don't know who's going to take over. We still don't know who's going to win out in the when it all is said and done, whether or not it's going to lead to civil war, what it's going to look like in the the greater region of this thing. So I mean, this could be very well to the detriment of the Iranian people at the end of this, compared to where they are or where they were as these negotiations were taking place, right? So I mean, as we talked about yesterday, I don't know if you guys watched me on Hal's show last night. He did kind of a special Saturday show, considering all the news that was going on. But we talked about how this was clearly a plan that was long in the works, right? This was clearly something that you took a long time, some months, a great deal of people involved. Not only the cooperation of the Pentagon with the Israeli forces, Israeli Defense Forces and stuff like that. So, I mean, this was something that you could tell that the negotiations were just a ploy. It was just a secondary aspect to try to string this along until they were, they were ready to go, until they had the green light, until they had the number of forces in place to do and get done what they wanted to do. So that's very clear to everybody. At least it should be clear to everybody in this aspect that the negotiations were never going to be the outcome. That was never going to be the end game. And that should have been clear the moment we saw the amount of forces being put into the region, as we saw, even though it didn't involve ground forces, even though to this day it doesn't involve ground forces. And a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard speculate, a lot of experts have talked about how difficult it is to enact a regime change without putting boots on the ground, whether that be American boots or whether that be Israeli boots, which most experts, if not all the experts, have said is just pretty much out of the question as far as that's concerned. So what is the end goal? Again, is this just in hopes of, checking off all of the Israeli, wishes, all of Benjamin Netanyahu's wishes as far as Iran is concerned, as far as the greater region is concerned? Is the instability something that, he's continuing to hope for, so that he can use that to his advantage, so he doesn't have to sit through the corruption cases, so he doesn't have to sit through the trials that he should be sitting through on the international criminal stage, considering he has a warrant out for his arrest because he's a war criminal, the same way that Donald Trump is a fucking war criminal at this point? But no, I digress in that point. But just be careful. I do, of all the people that are now celebrating, or at least showing the people celebrating, because again, this is the same thing that we said in the Venezuela raid. This is not to take anything away from the joy and the celebration of the people, the Iranian people that are now, again, been lifted from underneath the thumb of the Ayatollah, at least for this moment in time. Right? This is not to take away anything like that, but just be careful what you wish for, because sometimes the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't know. And again, this is far from over, and this is far from becoming a stable situation, and we don't know what the outcome is going to be and what that looks like as far as the daily lives of the Iranian people. So just be careful in that aspect of what we're talking about, what you kind of show and kind of applaud and expect as far as that's concerned. You know what I mean? So all right, let me slow this. There's another video from this kind of raid in Karachi on the U.S. consulate here. And again, along the lines of like the protests that we've seen, I do have a few, like I said, I have a ton of these clips pulled up. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there's a few of these. I don't want to go too ahead of myself, but we do have clips of some of the, the protests taking place that are against, obviously, what the United States is doing, to show that, this isn't something that the United States seems to be getting an upper hand on as far as the public sentiment is concerned. We know that Donald Trump came out and said that this was going to be on the Iranian people, and it was going to be up to them to, take up arms and just hold up in your fucking houses until the bombing is done. But once you don't hear any bombing anymore, that's when you can come out and actually storm the IRGC. That's when you can actually storm your government and all the government buildings. And God help you. A lot of you are going to be fucking mowed down. I know Donald Trump begged and pleaded the IRGC to get, to lay down their weapons, but to fucking for what? To who? You know what I mean? Who's going to grant them the clemency over there? Like, what does he actually think is going to take place? And there's a few other clips to speak to the same thing. But as far as the protests were concerned, I do want to just let you know that we have a ton to cover. Like I said, there's so much to get into as far as this is concerned. But again, we were just looking at this one as far as the consulate in Karachi, Pakistan is concerned, and the attacks on that one. But as far as the deaths that we were talking about, that we opened the show with, the 3 service members that have been killed so far in this fucking attack, in this, again, biggest cover-up by Donald Trump so far of what's taking place with the Epstein files. But this is, again, what he said. Don't forget that he said the lives of American heroes will be lost. That often happens in war. So already trying to butter that bread, already trying to kind of get you into the mind frame of accepting death and casualty, because they're being used as pawns, as political weapons by this administration, by this regime, excuse me. And again, he's not the only one. There's a clip here from Lindsey Graham as well, was speaking to Fox News. And basically he was saying that any United States service member that dies has basically died a noble death, which is absolute fucking horseshit, because again, you can't die a noble death in a legal war. That's fucking first and foremost. We've conducted another illegal war as the United States. We have not declared war. We are under no imminent threat by Iran. They were not threatening us in any fucking way. And we're using complete and utter bollocks bullshit justification going back to the 70s and the 80s and this fuck shit and your bullshit to try to justify, again, going around Congress, not having a say as far as the American people are concerned in whatever takes place with our U.S. service men and women who took the oath to defend this fucking country, defend the Constitution, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, as far as that's concerned, right? They work, they're supposed to be fucking serving the people. But we got no say in this. So again, Donald Trump using these fucking people, using the military as their, as political pawns, in my view. And again, just to replay and just to recap how he's trying to get people to kind of be okay, again, with the amount of death that we're guaranteed to see, that we've already started to see. You can be sure that it's not going to be ending at 3. The longer this continues, the more risk to our U.S. servicemen and women continues to that we'll see. I mean, that's just how it goes. That's reality as far as that's concerned. But just to catch everybody up to what the fucking president is trying to buddy her up to is just more death and destruction, is more blood being spilt by our men and women on the U.S. forces. And again, he's trying to get you to be okay with that. Here he is.
Seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure.
As I selfishly send them into fucking harm's way to do my political bidding, to do Benjamin Netanyahu's political bidding, so that people could talk about anything other than my involvement with Jeffrey fucking Epstein. I mean, how many people are we going to condemn to death? I mean, we talked about it on the show yesterday, that this guy's fucking death toll is fucking rapidly creeping up to the point where you could not be mistaken for comparing him to other authoritarian, autocrats, dictatorial fucking rulers that have had regimes in the past that everybody loves to say is hyperbole, loves to fucking bat an eye at when you compare him to, even though, again, he's repeated the rhetoric, he's fucking repeated Mein Kampf word for word, the policies, not only the policies and the rhetoric, also combined with the same fucking tactics that we continuously bring up on this show as far as it pertains to World War II, the Nazis, fascism as it rose in Italy, and all of the other things that we continue to talk about on this show. Not to put that into perspective as well. But all of this fucking bullshit going on right now is illegal, it's unconstitutional, it's against international law, and we continue to commit war crimes, as we'll continue to talk about the updates on the school that was hit, right? Whether it's 1 child or 100 fucking children, I don't give a shit. That's too fucking many, okay? And I will not stand for my country being used as a political fucking pawn, political fucking weapons to enact shit like this, to again turn Tehran into glass, as we've heard these fucking psychopaths talk about, condemning 9.5 to 10 million people to death in a sentence. So fuck that. I know they're no fucking friends of ours. I understand that we could fuck and banish the Ayatollah to hell all we fucking want. Two things can be true at the same time, right? We can also recognize the plight on the Iranian people. We can also recognize, the dangers posed. But this was not an imminent threat to the fucking United States by any stretch of the imagination. As Benjamin Netanyahu has been trying to tell us since what, 93, that it's been what, a day away, 2 days away, a week away. It was obliterated. Apparently, we don't know what the fucking word obliterated means anymore. Either that, the Iranian fucking people are the most remarkable fucking people on the face of the earth that could rebuild an entire nuclear program in about 6 months after it was completely and utterly obliterated. But that's secondary. Now we're talking about missiles. Now we're talking about other things. At some point, we're going to be down to the Iranian people they can't hold a weapon, right? They can't have a handgun. I mean, we're going down the list as far as checkpoints are concerned, right? Benjamin Netanyahu's wish list is getting fucking pretty long, and Donald Trump's getting pretty fucking comfy doing all of his bidding, doing all of his bullshit on the international stage. As long as we're not talking about the Epstein files, whatever it takes. I don't care if it's fucking Venezuelan fishing boats. I don't care if it's a war in starving the people in Gaza. I don't care if we're bombing the shit of Iran. Whatever the fuck it is, just don't talk about the Epstein files. God forbid.
That Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran seeks to kill. The lives.
And again, the last I thought that they were in negotiations, and the last I remember, we actually had an Iran fucking U.S. nuclear deal, right? I mean, am I living in an alternate universe? Do people on the right and the people in the MAGA cult honestly don't remember that fucking, recently? Or again, are we just sitting here on the left in a fucking just a complete and total alternate universe from the people that we're trying to defend this country against? Because it doesn't make much sense that the no new wars president, right? The fucking America first president, the guy that doesn't want to get entangled in any foreign fucking wars anymore, doesn't want to risk U.S. servicemen and women to these foreign wars anymore, has done nothing but enact and attack people all over the fucking world, whether they're allies or enemies at this fucking point, and put a target directly on the backs of the U.S. servicemen and women all over the fucking world at this point, not to mention Americans on the whole. You know what I mean? You got people going around at the Olympics literally having to apologize for being an American at this point and what they've fucking done to people on the world stage and the chaos that they've created amongst allies that have been allies for generations, right? It's fucking embarrassing at this point. It really is fucking, I mean, it's been embarrassing. Don't get it twisted. It's been fucking embarrassing. But how far are we willing to let this go? I mean, is Chuck Schumer done dancing in his fucking bedroom? Where was the strongly worded letter? Are they doing a Zoom call? What's the deal here? Where was the fucking pressure put on the fucking president? Where was the pressure put on the people of Congress to put their fucking stamp of approval or denial on whether or not we should go into war with Iran, or whether or not the people of this fucking country should have a say in whether or not the men and women of our U.S. service fucking members are used as political pawns in this bullshit? Right, Chris, with no I forget the saying that everybody's been saying, but it's almost like a war undertaken in hopes of a strategy. I know I'm butchering that, and I do apologize, but it's something along those lines, and it does accurately represent what the fuck we're seeing here. It's literally a war enacted in hopes that a strategy will materialize, right? Like they shot themselves in the foot so much by using this fucking U.S. buildup, right? And the pressure didn't work as Donald Trump thought it was going to work. So he kind of fucking shot himself in the foot and had no other choice. Other than that, he was going to look like a big fucking taco pussy if he just pulled all the forces out. So he put himself in the corner. So this was the only action. So now he's hoping that something kind of happens here. He's hoping that the Iranian people rise up, or he's hoping that they can actually take out enough of the leaders with just airstrikes over a long period of time that somehow it will diminish and take away the fucking, the reaction time or the ability of the Iranian government to function as a whole, right? But God knows how many U.S. servicemen and women are going to have to be risked over Iranian airspace or at the bases that are clearly being attacked on a daily basis by Iran right now in retaliation for the strikes, in retaliation for the Ayatollah's death. I mean, fuck. And he's not the only one, because we had this asshole as well. This is Lindsey Graham speaking to Fox News. If we lose anybody in this operation, says Lindsey Graham, they will die a noble death because they will have sacrificed their lives to make us safer here at home. Do you guys feel that in the chat? You guys that have grandsons and granddaughters now serving over there, flying these planes, serving on the aircraft carriers, refueling the jets, whatever the fuck they do. risking their lives just being in that area right now? Do you think if they get to strike, if Iran strikes one of these aircraft carriers, and I do believe just before I went on, there was some reports that they had targeted the USS Abraham Lincoln. I haven't had time to dive into that because I had so much else pulled up, so forgive me on that one. But I do believe that I did see a report on that before I came on. So let's just say, do you think that will be a noble death? What will you be able to explain to the parents? What will be talked about at the fucking family events as far as their noble death? What can we talk about? What did they save us from? What were we in danger of to begin with? That was worth their life. That was worth their sacrifice in this instance. Because I don't know if anybody in the chat's really going to necessarily have that fucking answer, because that's fucking insane. Considering what we know about the situation, considering what we know about the ongoing negotiations, considering what we know about allegedly having their nuclear program obliterated, knowing what we know about Benjamin Netanyahu's wish list in this fucking instance, and seeing that pretty much play out, play for play, goal for goal, person per person in that situation. But here's Lindsey fucking Graham, Twinkle Toes himself, talking.
And if we lose anybody in this operation, they will have died a noble death, because they will have risked their lives and sacrificed their lives to make us safer here at home. The command. And if we lose
again, these fucking neocon, bloodthirsty, cocksucking bastards have absolutely no problem sending the U.S. servicemen and women into harm's way while they sit by in their fucking cushy offices waiting for the donor money to start flowing in for all the defense fucking weapons, for all the programs, for all the fucking different militias that are going to be sent in, and the CIA contractors. You know that's going to be fucking next, right? So they're just going to be sitting back and waiting for these phone calls to happen, these sons of bitches. And everybody loved to talk about this fucking twinkle-toed cocksucking motherfucker, because he was an ally of Ukraine. But fuck him, because every time he talked about Ukraine, it was about fucking money. It was about how the United States could fucking profit from the involvement, from doing any business with Ukraine or helping them in any way. So he can stick it up his fucking tailpipe. Well, maybe not, because he'd probably fucking enjoy it, the bastard. Fuck him. And fuck the rest of these fuckers, too. You know what I mean? And then not that this story is going to get me any fucking less heated, but yeah, this is the airstrike on the girls' school that was originally reported yesterday. This is from the Washington Post. I do believe this is from yesterday at about 8 p.m. Again, by the Washington Post, reported airstrike hits Iranian girls' school. Iran's ambassador to the United Nations said the strike killed more than 100 children at the girls' elementary school in southern Iran. Here's some of the video as it shows. I'm not going to play it, but it does show like bloody backpacks. There are some very graphic and detailed kind of depictions in this. I'm not going to get into that as far as exposing you to all of that, but here's just as far as the reporting is concerned. In Beirut, the U.S. military told the Washington Post it was, quote, looking into reports of an airstrike Saturday morning that Iran's ambassador to the United Nations said killed more than 100 children at the girls' elementary school in southern Iran. And that tells me that they didn't straight and come out right and deny it right off the bat, that this is more than likely not propaganda. This is more than likely not mis or disinformation, okay? And again, regardless if it's one child or fucking 100 children, that is far too fucking many, okay? Those are not the targets. Those are not the perpetrators. Those are not the people running around in these militias with weapons and saying fucking death to them. These are fucking children, okay? So again, to see the U.S. military used in this way, in conjunction with the fucking Israeli military, knowing what them bastards are fucking known to do, is fucking shameful in every right. And I don't care, again, if it's one child or if it's fucking 100 children. Too much. So again, the numbers are the number. I'm not going to say it's irrelevant, because that's I don't want to put it into those terms. But in this case, you should be fucking upset regardless, right? And then once we get the final toll, once we get the final number, then it can be reported. Then we can talk about how egregious it was. But as far as being pissed off, I don't think you should take you knowing exactly what the fucking specific number is in this case. Iranian state media said U.S.-Israeli strikes targeted Shajara Tayyiba school, girls' school in the Iranian city of Manab while children were attending classes at the school. And a lot of people have been speculating as to like the timing of this attack as well. Typically, you'll start seeing these attacks in the very early morning hours. But this was kind of, what was the time? I believe it was like 9:30 local time there. Again, on work days, people going to school. So people have been kind of speculating as to why that was the case. But, one could assume that it was to increase the damage done, to cause maximum damage while people were on the roadways, while people were going to school, while people were in the buildings that were going to be hit and not stationed at their homes. I mean, who would put that past the Israeli military? Who would put that past Pete Hegseth as being the plan? Not fucking me. I know that. The school is near what appears to be a military installation, according to satellite imagery and open source material. An Iranian official speaking on the condition of anonymity, to discuss sensitive information, said the school was near a, quote, small medical center. When asked if the IRGC base was present in the city, he did not confirm or deny, but said it would not be unusual for one to be located there. Video recorded by bystanders and verified by the Post showed a crowd frantically gathered around the school after it was struck, shattered glass and crumbled wall blanketed to the ground. One side of the building appeared to have nearly collapsed as smoke rose from the debris. Additional footage released by the Iranian media showed backpacks apparently stained with blood and a row of what appeared to be corpses in body bags. Again, just some of the images. I don't have to show you the worst of the worst there. You guys obviously get the general idea and picture. I haven't covered so much of what's taken place in Gaza and obviously in the West Bank since. It doesn't take much to understand the destruction and the chaos that we're looking at here. So again, just to give you some updates and reporting here, responding to the reports of the strike that hit the school, U.S. Navy Captain Tim Hawkins, a spokesperson for the U.S. Central Command, told the Post that the military was aware of reports concerning civilian harm resulting ongoing military operations. We take these reports seriously and are looking into them. He added that the protection of civilians is of the utmost importance, and we will continue to take all precautions available to minimize the risk and unintended harm. Unlike Iran, we have never and will never target civilians. Again, pretty ridiculous and ironic to be saying that in a statement as we're literally talking about that take place. The most recent overall toll from U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran reached 201 dead and 747 injured across 24 provinces, and I'm sure that's risen since then. Again, I believe this was last night, according to Iran state broadcaster, citing figures from the Iranian Red Crescent Society. The Post could not be independently verified these casualty reports, and again, that's because this is still an ongoing and active matter here, and I'm sure the tolls will only continue to go up in that case. Again, just to go through all of what I know, all of what I've seen, all of what's taken place since the last time we saw each other. Here's an update by ABC. Let me throw this on your screen about the service members that were killed, the 5 wounded, what CENTCOM has said since. So what do you say we dive into just a little bit of this? I don't believe it's that long. I think it's only about a minute or two, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think I just messed it up, and I think I just messed it up and had it paused at a live spot that I wanted to have it at, but I totally forgot about that. But let me see if I can. I think it's right. Somewhere in this region right here. I'm going to say it was somewhere in this region right here. Bear with me. Let's see here. It was right after a break. I know that. So I think if we go back here, I can kind of rewind till we get to a break. Unless I just totally decapitated myself as far as being able to show this. Bear with me. Give me a second. Oh, I think it was this one. Let me see here.
California, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story is,
this is a commercial. I think once they come back.
ABC News Live.
Hi, I'm Mike Ajati. We're following 2 major breaking news stories right now. U.S. military officials confirming 3 American service members killed and 5 others injured after Operation Epic Fury, the U.S. and Israeli attack in Iran that killed the country's supreme leader. The Pentagon not yet revealing where the service members were injured or which branch of the military they served in. Sources also telling ABC News that 1 U.S. service member and several contractors were also injured in a drone strike while working at a military facility in Israel. No comment from President Trump so far about the fallen and injured service members. We'll have live team coverage just ahead from the Middle East to right here in the U.S. But we're going to begin with breaking news out of Texas. ABC News now learning law enforcement officials are investigating.
So again, I don't think that's the exact moment that I had planned, so my apologies. But they did give you the update there about the servicemen and women that were injured. But we go on here because this is more updates as far as CNN has kind of put out there. I think this has been updated very recently, much more recently than the Washington Post there. So this is just kind of a where things stand. As far as the ongoing actions are concerned. Let me throw this. I can make this a little bigger on your screen so it's a little bit easier to see. So these are just some of the main talking points, some of the main notes that everybody has been throwing around there. Supreme leader killed. The Ayatollah Khamenei was killed in U.S.-Israeli airstrikes, as we've talked about. Trump has indicated the strikes would continue through the week. We mentioned that earlier on. Iran says one attack killed over 100 girls at a military school near a military base. We spoke about that. Retaliatory strikes. Israel says it has carried out a new wave of strikes in the heart of Tehran as Iran unleashes fresh attacks after Khamenei's killing. Iran has already attacked U.S. bases in Israel and targets across the region. The conflict has damaged air hubs, rocked densely populated areas, and disrupted oil shipments, which we will speak about in just some time. Celebration and condemnation. The contrast of celebrations and mourning highlights the deep divides in Iran, as we spoke about. Some people are celebrating. Some people are continually protesting against the U.S. and Israeli strikes across the U.S. People took to the streets, some celebrating, others protesting the strikes, as we continue to talk about, continuously showing the divide there. Oh, thanks, Romulan. I appreciate that. And thank you to all the guys. I know I've seen a few of them go by. I apologize. It's a lot to cover, so I'm trying to focus on this. But if you guys have contributed to the show at all today, stick around to the end. I make sure to go through everybody and highlight everybody that contributed or reached a milestone or anything. So I do apologize if you've been sending super chats in and I don't get to it as it's sent in. But again, lots going on. I'm trying to keep focused here on keeping you guys updated. So please stick around to the end, and you guys will get your show of appreciation. I do make sure to recognize everybody that sends in every single show. So very much appreciate you guys. Venmo's just up in their corner. If you want to contribute, all I ask for is $1 or $2. Nothing's hidden behind a paywall here at Blunt Politics. I don't sell you anything. There's no ad revenue on any of these lives. Nothing. All of this is generated because of the generosity of you guys and the information or education or time-killing abilities of this show that you guys find in it. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Romulan, and everybody else today. Like I said, stick around to the end, and I'll be sure to get through all of you guys and say thank you. All right, back to it. Appreciate you guys. Let's see here. And again, a lot of this is what we've already been speculating and what we've known. Death toll in UAE rises to 3 people with 58 lightly injured. A lot of these are just kind of separate issues. Toll rises from 6 from Iranian missile attack near Jerusalem. Israel police say death toll has risen to 6 after an Iranian missile slammed into a residential building near Jerusalem. More than 20 people are being treated in the hospital. Drone debris damages Abu Dhabi complex housing Israeli embassy. Excuse me, that was kind of weird to read. But then there's a lot of these other things that I wanted to go through as well, because like these people on, excuse me, let me take that off. My apologies. Thanks, 007. I appreciate that. But this is like from OSINT Defender, open source intel on Twitter. They've been doing a good job of kind of procuring some of these, the footages, some of the pictures and videos coming out from a lot of these different attacks. So I figured we'd just kind of sift through some of the pictures that have been coming out here. This was, again, we're starting last night, if not yesterday. So we'll kind of build up to, near time. What's today? Today is Sunday. Sorry, excuse me, Abu. I just got lost in the sauce for at least 3 seconds right there. My apologies. But yeah, it is Sunday, so we'll catch up to today's timeline. We're going backwards here. So this is images from Israel's MDA show the aftermath of the Iranian ballistic missile impact in Tel Aviv. As you can see here, the destruction caused by that one. Looks like firefighters and rescue workers looking like they're trying to figure out how to get the rest of that under control in that area there. So, I mean, just to show some of the impacts and how wide-reaching this is. Again, this is the Patriot interceptor scream into the sky over Qatari capital of Doha, attempting to defend and down ballistic missiles fired once again by Iran at the Al Udeid air base. Let's take a look at this. And you can tell the places that aren't used to seeing shit like this and having shit like this happen all the time, like some of the other places in the region are, like the people that are out there just kind of standing in the streets, recording it with their cell phones. Like you can tell the reaction to it isn't necessarily the reaction that these other regions have. As soon as they hear the air sirens, as soon as they hear, the air defense systems start firing up there, they kind of have a different reaction to this. Again, there you can see the Patriot missile defense, the Patriot interceptors, as it says here, screaming into the sky over Doha to intercept those Iranian missiles. Fire burns and smoke rises from the impact site of the Iranian ballistic missile on Tel Aviv. So here's another angle of that one we were just talking about with the firefighters and the rescue workers. This is probably from either a drone, helicopter, or something of the like. Again, just to show the widespread destruction and the widespread chaos going on all over this region here. Aftermath of the Iranian ballistic missile in Tel Aviv from Sabrine News. Again, here's another angle of that same attack. So pretty widespread damage there in that attack, as you can see. We continue on here. Reports of an Iranian ballistic missile or drone impact in the Dubai International Airport. I believe that's the one we saw earlier. We played on the show. Here's another clip, I believe, from one of the same instances here. Smoke scene and fire alarms heard as passengers and staff evacuate Dubai International Airport following a drone or missile impact, on the airport during an attack by Iran. Let's just dive into this. It's a real quick one. I think it's only about 5 seconds here, just to kind of show people in chaos. So as you can see, this being felt by any number of countries and people in them here now. Additional documentation of damage from Iranian drone missile strike on Dubai International Airport. As you can see, debris everywhere, smoke filling the terminal there. We can go on. Let's see here. U.S. Central Command has announced the first combat use of low-cost unmanned combat attack systems, Lucas, one-way attack drones, yada, yada, yada. I think this is another one from the Dubai airport. We go on here. President Trump has posted a statement on Truth Social announcing the deaths of the Iranian supreme leader. We've talked about that before. Current aerial picture over Iran surrounding countries and only military flights visible in the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, and none visible over Iran. Again, you can see the kind of airspace blackout over Iran in that case. Here's an instance. We'll see this in another video coming up by The Sun, but this is the Burj Al Arab, an iconic luxury 5-star hotel in Dubai, is currently on fire after being struck by a one-way attack drone in the most recent wave of attacks by Iran against the United Arab Emirates. Again, this is one of the clips we'll see. I think it's only a couple seconds long, so we might as well just dive into it here. You'll probably see it again in the upcoming footage. So again, just depicting the fire there at the Burj Al Arab. We go on here. The U.S. State Department unsurprisingly announces that Secretary Marco Rubio will no longer travel to Israel on Monday, yada, yada, yada. Here's an image released of these fucking morons doing absolutely nothing, talking about how, again, they could protect Donald Trump from the release of the Epstein files and how they could go killing innocent civilians more appropriately. Or effectively, or just more of them, I guess, in this instance would be great for them. But yeah, these are morons in charge right here of the illegal war, talking about absolute bollocks, you can be sure. All right, so again, we go on. This is the Dubai airport again. So a couple instances, a lot of videos coming out of that one. Here's the Iranians dancing and celebrating and cheering the streets of Karaj in northern Iran tonight following reports of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in an Israeli airstrike. Again, as we spoke about earlier, this is nothing against, and I take away nothing from the Iranian people celebrating here, but I would just beware of how you kind of take this and what you think this means going forward. Because there are multiple instances and multiple pieces of evidence to suggest that, there are large crowds gathering that have the opposite sentiment as well. So again, just be careful on how people are kind of reporting about this and what they're showing you and what they say it means going forward. So I'm just, showing you what we know so far. And again, it doesn't take too much to recognize or sympathize with the joy that they must be feeling at this moment in time, knowing what has been perpetrated upon them by the leadership for so long. So again, taking away absolutely nothing from the joy that they feel here. Just again, a note of caution. I would put an asterisk next to it. So again, celebrations in Galadar City, Moor County, in the Fars province of southern Iran. So again, more along the same lines here, as you'll see. Guys got some pipes on them, but obviously you can see the joy being exhibited there in that situation. Let's see here. Is there any more that we wanted to show from this one? Hundreds of Iranians cheering in the streets. So again, that's along the same lines. Crowds are gathering in the streets of Isfahan, Iran, following the news of the death of the supreme leader. So again, all along the same lines as you'll see. But we'll go on as we'll see. A large protest of the other sort as well. So air raid sirens. This was 19 hours ago. Air raid sirens sounding now in Bahrain and Qatar as we continue to talk about the attacks been ongoing. Which ones are these? Reports of Iranian ballistic missile impact in Bahrain. See if we can take a look at this one.
بطيح بطيح يا علي سدد يا الله يا الله يا صاحب الزمان الله أكبر.
As you can see the impact in the background there. A little tough to see in that one, but you could depict it there if you could look close enough. If you squint your eyes just right, you could see it. Israeli missile defenses are active near Kiryat. Let me see if we can throw this on the screen. I don't know if there's any sound on this one, but you can see in the background here. I love how they put the watermark right where you want to see the missiles and stuff, right where the main action is taking place. Let's put the watermark right there. That'd be great. But obviously you can see here in the skies over, what was it, Kiryat? My apologies as I'm butchering these names here. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has released his first statement since the start of last night's large-scale air campaign. It's not an air campaign. It's a war. It is a war. It is a war. Dubbed Operation Epstein Fury, stating overnight President Trump's orders. The Department of War commenced Operation Epstein Fury, so he could not be named in the Epstein files anymore. I'm paraphrasing, of course, on that one, but who gives a shit what he had to say? This was continuing on down the timeline. Let me see here. Which one was this? Video showing U.S. air defenses engaging Iranian missiles over Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar as Iran continues to strike U.S. bases and infrastructure located in partner nations across the region. Per last night's CENTCOM update, damage so far to U.S. bases and infrastructure minimal and has not affected the operational tempo. Of course, this was 18 hours ago. So again, we're trying to go up to date, up the ladder on the timeline. So this has obviously changed since then. But here's the footage that came out at that time.
Fuck yeah.
Jesus Christ. Those fucking things, they're going all over the place. One's going that way, one's going that way. Oh, shit. Now, how much do you think that just cost the U.S. taxpayer? That one salvo right there. What do you think that one volley just cost the U.S. taxpayer? Hard to tell. Hard to tell. I can't tell how many Patriots were sent up there, but I'm sure we could do the calculations on that one. But let's watch that one more time because that's pretty crazy.
Fuck yeah.
Like those ones, those two go up at the same angle, same direction. Look at these next two. One goes fucking, looks like Kash Patel's eyes, for Christ's sakes. One goes that way, one goes the complete opposite way. Look at this one. Is that a misfire or what the fuck is that? Did that go straight down?
What the fuck?
I think he noticed it too. Whoever's taking the video was like, what the fuck was that? What happened on that one? So, again, these are just upcoming videos that we're looking at here in case you're just joining us of some of the action that is taking place since last night into this morning, obviously, if not yesterday in general. But strikes of the Israeli Air Force and ballistic missile launch sites and air defense systems continue across Iran. I don't care to do any Israeli propaganda as far as that's concerned. Reports of renewed strikes now on Tehran, likely by Israel. They did continuously say that they were going to be doing that. Footage showing the moment that the Iranian one-way attack drone struck Bahrain International Airport earlier, which is located in Muharraq Island. See if we can take a look at this. So again, just to show how widespread this is, how many people are being affected by this, the peace in the Middle East that Donald Trump has been talking about, of course, obviously, just continuously showing examples of peace in the Middle East. Imagery from Chinese imagery analysis comparison company Mizar Vision shows Ali Al Salam Air Base, Kuwait, from earlier today with one of its at least 3 plumes of smoke, black smoke visible, with one emanating from a large building south of the airfield and 2 other areas that appear to be industrial or storage. Again, some of the Chinese imagery coming in for some reason on that regard. This is CENTCOM releases footage of U.S. Army HIMARS launching ATACMS against Iranian radar and ballistic missile launch sites. Yeah. Why do I have a feeling that this footage in the beginning has absolutely nothing to do with this fucking combat mission? Why do I have a feeling this is just like a bit of propaganda put together? I mean, I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong. But why do I feel like this happened some time ago and they're just using this footage and then pairing it up with the actual strike footage at the end of it? Again, I could be wrong. Hand up accountability if I am. My apologies. But that's just kind of my take on that one. Seems to be very propaganda-esque as far as that's concerned. But we continue up the timeline here to closer to where we lie right now. President Donald Trump said large-scale campaign on Iran, weeks-long lobbying effort by an unusual pair of allies in the Middle East, Israel and Saudi Arabia, yada, yada, yada. I don't care to do his fucking propaganda either. Reports of at least 1 drone or ballistic missile impacted Erbil International Airport in Kurdistan, northern Iraq. So we're talking about an even different place here, with an attack by Iran currently underway against U.S. bases and other sites in Iraq. Here's a picture of the plume of smoke that you can see there. Is this the same thing? Clouds of thick black smoke rise from the impacted Erbil International Airport in northern Iraq. Another picture that you can see depicting the strike. Looks like a clear fire in the background. Let's see, as we continue, U.S. Army CRAM located at Erbil International Airport in northern Iraq attempts to down one-way attack drones and other aerial threats launched this morning against northern Iraq by Iran. So here's a little video of that. Again, once again, the watermark directly in the way. But you can see the string of fire here. So again, just a short clip depicting that. We go on. Let's see here. This is extensive strikes this morning by the Israeli Air Force against the Iranian capital of Tehran, reportedly targeting command and control sites of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Let's take a look at this. Clearly depicting widespread attacks again in the capital. So we continue here. Red alerts now across northern and central Israel, including Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, as another wave of ballistic missiles have been detected, having been launched from Iran. Again, this is 7 hours ago. Just we're going down the timeline. I want to make sure that everybody understands this. This is not up to speed right now. Renewed attacks by this morning by Iran on Bahrain, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. There's some more footage here of interception seen moments ago over Dubai in the United Arab Emirates as Iran continues to launch drones and ballistic missiles at Gulf nations allied to the United States. Let's take a peek at this. Did she say she was hungry? I'm sorry. I know that's way off of what we're talking about, but did this video just start off with her saying she's hungry in the middle of a ballistic missile attack? Because that takes some nerve. I got to say, that's showing some balls right there. Listen up at the beginning of this. I think she says, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Dude, it's so bad. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
So again, there, just some video footage coming out of that attack there over Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. And we continue to get these footage and clips that roll in here. Casualties are being reported in Beit Shamish. My apologies on the pronunciation. Again, I'm doing my best here. Israel following an Iranian attack. Here's some footage of that. Not sure what did the deed, if it was a drone or a missile attack, as they say, but you can see the remnants, the destruction left behind from that. This is the Qatari foreign minister issued a statement condemning the Iranian attack. Of course, they would. Multiple explosions seen and impacts from the Iranian drones and ballistic missiles reported at Zayed Port, a commercial deep water port that serves Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. Take a look at this. Is that a cruise ship in the background? You guys see that shit? Is that a fucking cruise ship in the background? It is a cruise ship, right? Looks like the smokestack. Looks like the rear. Doesn't this look like the rear smokestack, like the ass end of a cruise ship? Am I wrong on that? Yeah, that looks like the front of it right there. That looks like the front of the... Jesus. But they weren't expecting that waking up on the fucking cruise ship. You can see there, just in the background, the cruise ship going by. What did they charge extra for that? But there's a little bit more footage coming in from the Sayed port there in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Let's see here. The UAE Ministry of Defense announces that they have so far intercepted 152 ballistic missiles and 506 one-way attack drones launched by Iran since the start of hostilities on Saturday, with debris and impacts resulting in 3 deaths and 58 injuries, most minor as air defenses continue to defend the Emirates. So again, that's an update from the Ministry of Defense for the UAE there. Let's see here. Former President Iran Mahmoud, I'm not going to try that one, and several of his close associates and bodyguards were reportedly killed in a strike yesterday on Tehran by Israeli Air Force. That's him right there. The Danish shipping and logistics company Maersk has announced that that they will be suspending all future transits through the Strait of Hormuz, which will be a story we'll continue to talk about in the ending here of the show, in the later half of the show, until further notice due to the ongoing conflict in the region between Israel, Iran, and the United States. Of course, what that means for you and what that means for your wallet is going to be discussed, I'm sure. Again, I think we saw this one already from the Burj Al Arab. Iranian president here, Masoud Pezeshkian. That guy right there is alive and is stating in a morning statement run on television that the Interim Leadership Council is now operational and has assumed constitutional control of the Islamic Republic of Iran. That guy adds that we will continue the path of the leader. With the strength, our armed forces are crushing the bases of the enemies. And again, I feel this is to be a huge kind of failure. I guarantee this would have been one of the main people. Again, unless he's somehow affiliated with, again, that's just kind of putting on the tinfoil hat at that point there. But it seems to be a lack of goals met here, keeping this guy alive and letting this guy, go on to the state television to be like, yes, we're going to continue this. But again, that's just me. I don't know what their goals or intentions are. It doesn't seem to be clear at this point to anybody anyway. But we continue to speculate. Thick black smoke seen rising from the state. From the site of Iranian drone and or missile strike at Camp de la Paz, a French naval base in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Again, I believe there was a joint statement put out by France, the UK, and Germany, if I'm not mistaken, basically saying that they had no part in this, but they condemn, obviously, yada, yada, yada. Pretty mealy-mouthed bullshit statement, if you ask me. Condemning Iran for this, that, and the other thing, while also saying that they took no part in the attacks there. But we continue on. And there's a bunch of people here doing some great reporting. I think let's see if we can go up to, I think we've pretty much gotten to the most recent of his reporting here. I think this was 27 minutes ago. Additional Iranian ballistic missiles launched towards northern Israel now, according to alerts. And then we go on because there's been some good reporting here by open source intel as well. Let me throw this on your screen. And again, this is just a few other instances to go over. An MQ Reaper drone was filmed cruising high over Shiraz in Fars province in Iran. Again, just some different footage coming from this attack and the different regions surrounding the areas from different cell phone footage. Not sure how clear this is. Let's see here. Do you see anything? Oh, you can just barely make it out up there. You can just barely make it out. So really nothing to be seen as far as that's concerned. As we continue up here, the CIA quietly tracked Supreme Leader Khamenei for months, mapping his movements with high confidence and building a detailed pattern of life, which again shows that the simultaneous negotiation talks were just absolute fucking nonsense and a waste of time. I think that's pretty much confirmation there as we talk about the intelligence gathering needed to go behind an action like this, the detailed planning and how long that would take, how many people need to be involved, how many different combinations and agencies, and considering it's in conjunction with Israel, need to be involved. So that just goes to prove that the negotiations on a whole were absolute and utter fucking bollocks. Here's wild footage here. The IDF shares footage of the operation systematically dismantling the Islamic regime's ballistic missile launchers. We showed a little bit of that, and I refuse to do the Israeli propaganda. Just in, Iranian state media aired a video declaring plans to target U.S. bases in the region with F-4 Phantom jets. F-22 pilots' mouths are watering right now, as it states here. Again, that's just a propaganda video put out there. Let's see what else we got here. Breaking air supremacy achieved. Israeli Defense Minister Katz, and this was 8 hours ago, says that the IAF fighter jets are dominating Tehran's airspace and gearing up for sustained strikes on the Iranian regime targets as they continue with those, with the continuous stream of aircraft set to hit military sites across the capital, as we've continued to detail here. UK Defense Secretary says Iran fired 2 missiles towards Cyprus, where UK military bases like RAF Akrotiri are located. UK going to enter the chat. Again, these are different people on here begging the UK, France, and Germany to get involved in this. So again, I'm just using different aspects and different people's reporting that have kind of, combined the footage and combined the different aspects of this attack into one place that could be easily found. That's all this is. So again, CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper, on the first 24 hours of Operation Epstein Fury, the president ordered bold action, yada, 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 more propaganda, so I'm not going to read it. IRGC targets in Tehran going up in smoke. I believe we already saw that. So I believe we've probably covered a lot of what we're going to see here. What's this one? The U.S. Air Force MQ Reaper drone is seen flying over Shiraz. So here's a better aspect. There's a better look at that same one we were talking about earlier, as you can see on your screen. So let's see here. What else do they depict here? This is Hezbollah's stronghold in Beirut's Dahia, demonstrating in support of Khamenei and Iran. As we talked about, there's going to be different videos and footage going around of people both happy and ecstatic for this, and then are also, still chanting death to America and still not happy with what the United States and Israel have been conducting as far as this airstrikes are concerned, just to say the least. I'm sure I'm putting that in the minimalist terms as I possibly can, but here's a video depicting that. And unfortunately, you're going to have to find a different podcast, or if you want a translation on that one, I am not that deeply involved just yet. So my apologies. But this goes on to talk about some different aspects of this. Here's something that we'll be talking about. Here's another one of the mass demonstrations that we'll be showing video of in just a second here. Let me throw this on here, because this is from The Sun. This is talking about the Burj Al Arab. So this is just giving different footage. We may have seen some of these, but again, just to be as thorough as humanly possible, Dubai's iconic Burj Al Arab hotel engulfed in flames after being hit by Iran's suicide drone. Let's see if we can dive into just a couple aspects of this. This just kind of compiles all of the different footage. This is when the strike occurs.
Oh my God.
Different angle here, as you can see. Shopping center on fire in Al Sharjah, Dubai. Obviously, thick plume of black smoke coming from the fire. From a different angle here. People on the streets right underneath. You can see the damage done. One can only imagine how many people are being trapped by that. This was yesterday. This was the Palms one that we talked about yesterday that we showed on Google Earth, exactly where that was, in case you want to go back and take a look at the updates that we gave yesterday. And you can see people slowly start to react in this one. I don't know if they'll let it play long enough, but you can see, I don't know if this is a kid in front of us. I'm assuming it's a kid here, but he slowly starts to react. You can see the people in the background that are running. They kind of stop in place, but they slowly start to realize what the hell is going on, and then they get to running. You know what I mean? They start recognizing that they don't want to be out in the open. Again, you can see how the reactions differ in these type of circumstances. Watch this kid. You can see here, he's turning around. He's confused. He takes off. The people in the back, you can start to see, they're kind of, in confusion right now, but they start to walk pretty briskly away. Again, I don't know if they'll let it play long enough, but you can see the people start to run away here. So once the black smoke starts to rise and they realize that, it is what they thought it was, it starts to sink in. And again, just to be clear, this is footage that we showed yesterday. I don't want to make it seem like this is late breaking news or anything like that. We're just trying to recap all of the footage that we can.
Qué locura, amigo. No, mamá.
So again, just multiple different angles of this attack, but I figured we'd try to get as many different looks at it as humanly possible. But here's what I was talking about just a second ago. This was posted: mass protest in Iran right now demanding revenge following the assassination of Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei by the United States and Israel. So again, there is a lot to talk about. If people are just going to bring up, the joyous celebrations and the people that are celebrating this, they're doing a huge disservice to the reality on the ground. So here's kind of a clip to depict just that. So you can see just how many people are there, So again, just to drill home that, be very wary of what people are showing you and talking about as far as the support that they are going to try to bring up in this area. Here's another one. This was posted just in: massive protests erupt in Iran demanding revenge as U.S. and Israel assassinated Supreme Leader Khamenei. There's another one of those. So again, we are still a long way away from seeing, what the leadership looks like when the dust settles, when the smoke clears, as far as this is concerned. But, we'll be sure to try to keep you up to speed and up to date on the latest that's breaking. Here's another one of the, kind of the bits of chaos that has been taking place. This is from Baghdad, chaos footage of attacking the U.S. Embassy. We showed earlier a clip like this, I believe, from Pakistan, if I'm remembering correctly, as far as, people storming into U.S. sites in different areas to show their displeasure. Let's see if we can just play this. So if anything is clear, it is the absolute chaos that has erupted in the region, basically dropping bombs, as we've known, to spread democracy, dropping bombs as far as trying to get people on our side, trying to enact peace in the Middle East. Doesn't really work out all that fucking well, as we're finding out very rapidly here. Again, if you're just joining us, I really do appreciate it. Again, I'm sure most of you are aware, but not to go back over things, but in case anybody joined in late, we have been covering the 3 U.S. service members that have been killed in the conflict thus far, talking about exactly what we knew was coming from this. If you've listened to the Blunt Politics podcast leading up to this conflict, you would know that this was not going to be anything like Caracas. This was not going to be anything like Venezuela. And right now, basically, even though the actions are not like it, basically the results here we're seeing are somewhat the same. So we have managed to cut the head off the snake so far, but that doesn't mean that the same regime, that doesn't mean that the same maniacal maniacs aren't going to just hop up and take the place, right? That doesn't mean that we're going to see the results that we're expecting to see in this from the air campaign alone. So again, what the end result is, what the end goal is, still remains to be and is continuously speculated upon by experts all over the place. Whether it's foreign media, local media, mainstream media, whatever you want to talk about, they're all speculating it to this point because it doesn't seem to be clear to any one person exactly what the outcome is supposed to be in this. Exactly how they exactly how they expect to go about enacting regime change without boots on the ground, as we know, is so desperately needed in situations like this. Again, not saying it's impossible, but it is very unlikely, and it will take a hell of a lot more than what we are seemingly willing to put up with now to get that job done if they're going to continuously try to do it the way they are right now. And we're going to see this death toll here continuously rise, both on the Iranian side, on the side of all of the surrounding regions, and of course the U.S. servicemen and women that are going to be put in harm's way, being used as political pawns by the Trump regime here to try to distract again in any way, shape, or form from his involvement in the Epstein files. So again, thank you if you're just joining us. Again, we're going over the mass casualty events, obviously, that have taken place in Israel and beyond. Here's another one that we discussed earlier on, in case anybody's just joining us. The 9 dead. I'm not sure if this has since risen. Forgive me if the death toll has since risen, but since we've come on, this was the latest that I had put together. 9 dead missile attack on Israel as Iran strikes region. It's just basically the mass chaos that we've continued to spread. This was what we were talking about in Karachi earlier, as far as the storming of the compound, the U.S. compound, the U.S. consulate. So to go along with the Baghdad imagery that we just showed, of course, the hit on the school. Why don't we see if I can take a look at that real quick? We'll see if we can. Let's see here. Take a look at the latest, because I know what we were looking at here was from last night. So let's see if I can get the latest on that. School updates. See if there's anything else I can fill you guys in on here as far as that's concerned. A lot of these are from yesterday, 10 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 4 hours ago. That's the BBC one that I put out. So let me see here. This is from the BBC. At least 153 dead after reported strike on school. Iran says this is from 4 hours ago. Some of the imagery here coming out. Oh, fuck off, BBC. You have to pay for the BBC now? What? Jesus Christ. Nobody wants you to know anything anymore. It's becoming more and more difficult and more costly now to try to figure out what's going on in the world, because you need subscriptions to this, that, and the other fucking thing. You need fucking, look, can we go back to cable? I mean, not to get off topic, but can we go back to fucking cable? I don't remember any point in time where there were too many people watching a cable news station and like the fucking, like the service cut out, or it was like jumbled mess as far as the streaming is concerned. Like, I don't remember that ever taking place. I'll happily go back to fucking bunny ears. Like, I will adjust the shit out of them motherfuckers. Like, this is ridiculous. We paid less for cable. We got to bitching about cable. Now you got to pay 43 fucking different streaming platforms if you want to watch a sporting event. It's going to cost you about 7 G's a month if you want to watch the fucking Bruins game, depending on where they're playing. God forbid you want to watch, any other fucking obscure sporting event. God fucking love you if you're going to try to pull that one up. But yes, also, if you do find it, if there's too many people watching that event, it's also going to look like shit. Okay, it's not going to stream properly. It's going to be fucking fuzzy. It's going to be choppy. But that's because too many people watch. Don't remember that problem? Too many people watching the Super Bowl when it was cable. So I was all set when that was happening. But let's go back to this fucking, hey, we're going to save a bunch of money. Here's fucking YouTube TV for $90 million, $3 a week. Let's get that one in there. Sorry, I know that's a fucking side note and a little side shuffle I'm on there, but God fucking damn it, is this shit getting annoying. I can't stand it. You guys have long known, if you watch the Blunt Politics podcast or the live stream, whatever you want to call this nonsense, that I can't stand for news outlets. Like the same way I don't charge you guys for any of the content here. Like that is fucking insane to me. Why would I want you to have to pay for updates on what is so important to your daily life? Why would I charge you for that? Why? You can't be informed if you don't have money? What kind of stupid fucking asinine plan is that to keep the public informed, to keep the fucking citizenry up to speed on what's been taking place? Seems to me like that's the fucking product. Seems to me like that's a plan and a tactic to keep the fucking public in the dark, right? To keep them uninformed, to keep them fucking uneducated. So I'm trying to reverse that role. And I know it's not a money-making ploy by any stretch of the imagination. And we're struggling along just like any other small podcast is. But, I do feel like that we're doing it the right way. Again, I'm not holding up any green juice, telling you that I've been drinking it for 35 fucking years and it changed my life. Meanwhile, I just opened the package this morning and they gave me a whole little spiel that I have to read to you. None of that shit's going on. Again, the fucking live's not even monetized at all at this fucking point. I mean, you can contribute, but as far as like ad revenue or anything like that, that's not even a thing. I don't want any financial backers of the show to tell me what I can and cannot say. Again, Venmo, super chats, all that stuff. That's how this show runs, and I can't thank you guys enough for contributing the way that you guys do. So, a lot of the credit should go to you guys in the chat there for keeping this up. Keeping this going, as I say, keeping this going. So, yeah, and a lot of what is taking place here, let me throw this on the screen as well, because here's another aspect of this as we continue to talk about like the secondary effects of this strike and what it's going to mean for your pocketbook, what it's going to mean for your wallet, your energy prices, oil prices in general, obviously gas prices at the pump. This is from Fortune. Oil prices soared 10% as tanker traffic halts near the Strait of Hormuz amid Iran attacks, while IRGC warns against passage. Our ships will stay put. And again, this is above and beyond the reporting that like the insurances and have like these companies have already started to put in these claims and stuff like that to go through this area if they do indeed have to go through. And again, it's going to cost them a substantial a chunk of change more than it normally would, something like $200,000 to $400,000 per trip more. And who do you think those costs are going to be passed down to? Who do you think inevitably is going to have to foot the bill for that exorbitant rate going up because of the attacks here, because of the U.S. and Israeli-led attacks on Iran? It's you guys. It is you guys. It is everybody else around the world that needs to fucking fill their cars with gas, that needs oil for the heat in the winter, or whatever it may be. For whatever you use it for, it's going to cost you more. And that's exactly what we are looking at right now as far as that's concerned, because, you can see the prices here. Let me throw this on the screen. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see exactly what's going to take place as far as this is concerned and, what may come out of the choke point. Or again, the cutting off of the tanker traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, considering how much goes through there. Let me see if we can I'll make this a little bigger on your screen. I know this is a little small, so just to get into a little bit of this. Energy markets are starting to react to the U.S.-Israel bombing campaign against Iran, which is stepping up retaliation in the region. Brent crude prices jumped 10% to about $80 a barrel over the counter on Sunday. Oil traders told Reuters that after the global benchmark had been surging in the days leading up to the first airstrikes early Saturday as tensions mounted, closing at 7-month high of $73 a barrel on Friday. Iran pumped 4.7 million barrels per day last year, accounting for 4.4% of the global oil supplies. Much of its heavy sanctioned shipments go to China via a so-called shadow fleet, but the bigger risk centers on the potential for Iran to close off the Strait of Hormuz, where a fifth of all the world's oil passes through on the way to export markets. Analysts have estimated that any Iranian moves to close off the strait could send prices to $100 per barrel. While Iran has yet to take steps to close off the strait, such as placing underwater mines, ships are still staying away. Hundreds of tankers carrying oil and liquid natural gas have dropped anchor or remained stationary near the Strait of Hormuz, according to shipping data compiled by Reuters. That's after tanker owners, oil majors, and trading houses suspended shipments via the strait on Saturday as a precautionary move. Our ships will stay put for several days, the top executive said. In addition, Greece's shipping ministry had advised vessels to avoid the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, and the Strait of Hormuz. And shipping giant Maersk said it is suspending all vessels crossing through the strait until further notice. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has repeatedly warned ships that passage is not allowed in the strait, and at least 2 ships have already been struck near the waterway. Through the source of the attacks wasn't clear. Iranian's foreign minister said Sunday that the country has no intention of closing the Strait of Hormuz at present, nor any plans to do anything that would disrupt navigation in it at this stage. Meanwhile, OPEC agreed to boost oil production with plans to increase output by 206,000 barrels a day in April from its 137,000 barrel monthly increments. But there is limited space capacity among most of the cartel members to pump more oil, with most residing in Saudi Arabia. So again, just the clear impact this could possibly have and will have on your pocketbook as a secondary impact, as a secondary effect of the strikes that we've been seeing. But what do you guys think? Where is this going to go? What is the end goal? How long is it going to last? How many men and women in our U.S. forces right now are going to be put in harm's way and and have to, again, pay the ultimate price because of Donald Trump's maniacal fucking dictatorial powers that he wants to rule over the planet, and then obviously the detraction from the Epstein files and his involvement in that. What do you guys think? What are we thinking here? Because there's a lot to get through. I know there's a lot that we have to kind of digest all at once. This above and beyond what's been taking place, obviously, recently in Ukraine, the successes that Ukraine has seen recently. So we're trying best to keep up to speed on all of this stuff. I know it's not easy to kind of fit it all into one kind of show here, but I'm doing my absolute best to try to do that. Let me see if there's any further updates that I could get you here that we could talk about on any of the other stories that we are typically covering on the show. Because one does not want to forget anything else that is going on around the world. I know we have to put in a lot of time and attention into this, obviously, with the severity of it, with the dangerous nature of what could take place in the region and beyond, and what it means for you and I as far as the pocketbooks here. But we're going to try to do our best to continually stay up to speed on everything else that's taking place as well, because the military show has put out a couple new videos recently. War in Ukraine just revealed the best tank in history. AI just started killing Russians on the front lines for the first time. Again, not to kind of totally dive into a new aspect, but is there anything else that you guys wanted to look into, wanted to cover as far as that's concerned? And this is something that I wanted to show you as well, just to kind of depict where we're talking about as far as the Strait of Hormuz, in case anybody's not kind of familiar with this area. Obviously, you got the country of Iran here, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Iraq here. And then as we slide in here, you can see the Strait of Hormuz. So this kind of general area here definitely being kind of avoided by a lot of these different companies here for fear of them being attacked, which is again going to lead to a price increase on the world market, which is again going to trickle down to you and I. So again, we got to continuously look at these secondary aspects, these secondary effects of what's going to take place in this general region. So again, just to give everybody the clear depiction of where we're talking about, what we're talking about, all of the updates that we could possibly give here. Let's see if there's anything else that we've been missing. Let's see here. I'm going to throw this on the screen. Just hit a little refresh. See if there's any. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Is this what I wanted to do? I'm not sure. Let me see again. Let me exit out of this. Let me just see if there's anything else here that we haven't talked about that happened since we've been gone here. 12 minutes ago, U.S. Air Force KC-135 Stratotanker that has been forward deployed to the Ben Gurion Airport in Israel is in a hold after supporting strikes over Iran, waiting over the incoming Iranian ballistic missile attack. This is from 19 minutes ago. 13 minutes ago, following Iranian ballistic missile launches, alerts are now active in Jerusalem and the surrounding area per IL Red Alert. 19 minutes ago, sirens now in northern Israel as Iranian ballistic missiles are expected imminently. I think they do have a live feed there, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can, for a second, dive into that. See if there's anything taking place at this moment. I think this is live here, if I'm not mistaken. Throw this over here. Again, streets look quiet in Tel Aviv at the moment here. See if we go back, if we catch anything. Doesn't seem to be much captured on that one, but this is seems to be a live shot of Tel Aviv, depending on where obviously the missile strikes are going, what's going to be captured on that. See, yeah, go back to you, go back to this, share that on the screen, get rid of you. Sorry, guys, we're just trying to, as it's happening, as it's taking place, dive into anything we possibly can as far as news updates. Updates considering all of the widespread action that is now ongoing. Let me throw this back on your screen. Kind of sift through this. According to French BFM TV, the French carrier Charles de Gaulle, previously routed to the Baltic Sea, will be deployed to the Mediterranean Sea following the strikes in Iran and the escalation of reciprocal strikes across the Middle East. We continue here. 39 minutes ago, according to Lara Selgerman of the Wall Street Journal, a source who has been briefed on the matter said more than 1,000 targets have been struck by the U.S. and Israel since operations against Iran began. So again, you can see the detailed planning that would have had to gone into depicting and picking out 1,000 different targets or more as this continues here. Additional Iranian ballistic missile launches towards northern Israel now, according to alerts. This was about an hour ago. According to UK MTO's daily summary, 3 maritime incidents have now taken place in and around the Strait of Hormuz, including one incident 2 northern miles north of Qumzar, Oman, one incident 50 nautical miles north of Muscat, Oman, and one incident 17 nautical miles northwest of Mina, Sakar, UAE. Let's see here. Multiple maritime incidents were reported across the Arabian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. Let's see if this gives any more details. So has received a report of an incident 2 northern miles. Advised to transit with caution. Vessel intends to continue its voyage. This is about an hour ago. Amidst ongoing clashes between Iraqi security forces and pro-Iranian protesters attempting to breach the perimeter of the Green Zone, gunfire has now erupted. It is yet unclear if this is Iraqi security forces attempting to disperse protesters, as gunfire appears to be directed into the air. See if we can take a look at this chaos. But again, peace in the Middle East, ladies and gentlemen. Peace in the fucking Middle East. Clashes now between pro-Iranian protesters and Iraqi security forces near the Green Zone in Iraq. So obvious chaos in that situation. According to Jake Epstein of business, oh, that's a tough name to have at this moment in time. I would fucking be the first person in line at the courthouse to change that. Boy, would I be the first one to change that one. And apologies to anybody that carries the same last name, but I think you can understand. I don't think you've kind of, been under a rock long enough to not understand where I'm coming from on that one. According to Jake Epstein of Business Insider, the UK Ministry of Defense spokesperson has said that a Typhoon fighter jet used as an air-to-air missile to shoot down an Iranian drone in the second confirmed such action for UK forces. An RAF Typhoon jet flying a defensive patrol used an air-to-air missile to shoot down an Iranian drone that was heading towards Qatari territory. UK Ministry of Defense spokesperson said in the second interception for British forces earlier, they took down a drone heading toward a base in Iraq. That was, about an hour ago. As far as that's concerned, Israeli Defense Forces have announced that the Israeli Air Force has achieved air superiority, which I believe we reported earlier in the show. IDF released footage not doing any of their propaganda. Sorry. Rioters breached the perimeter of the U.S. consulate in Karachi. We showed this. Here's a couple different angles of that. Again, just further evidence of the ongoing widespread peace happening in the Middle East here as we continue on. Multiple explosions in the last hour in and around Erbil International Airport. In the U.S. consulate in Kurdistan, northern Iraq. Let's see if we can get into this one. Just a real quick video showing a penis-shaped mushroom cloud there. President Trump hosted, what's he say? I've just been informed that we have destroyed and sunk 9 Iranian naval ships, some of them relatively large and important. We are going after the rest. They will soon be floating at the bottom of the sea. Also, in a different attack, we largely destroyed their naval headquarters. Other than that, their Navy is doing very well. President, Jesus Christ, the guy's a fucking lunatic. The guy is a fucking lunatic. Speaking of lunatics, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held a security discussion with the defense minister, the chief of the general staff, and the head of Mossad today. Talking about psychopaths there and war criminals. few of them depicted there in that picture. Confirmation of U.S. Central Command that multiple B-2 Spirit long-range stealth bombers were used to strike Iran during the overnight hours with multiple 2,000-pound bombs. The B-2s departed Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, yesterday morning and are on the way home at this time. The Midnight Hammer mission lasted, what? The Midnight Hammer mission lasted nearly 36 hours. Is that from before? Or are they just reusing that name? The Midnight Hammer mission lasted nearly 36 hours, and this mission so they're just referencing that. And this mission appears to have taken several hours longer, so they're just comparing it to Operation Midnight Hammer. Let's see here. Anything else? A statement from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps states that the 7th and 8th waves of Operation True Promise 4 are underway, targeting several U.S. bases across the region. The IRGC claims that Ali Al-Salem Air Base in Kuwait has been completely disabled. They also claim that 560 dead and wounded Americans, while that the U.S. Central Command puts a total at under 10. So is that number risen since I got on there? The 3 U.S. service members. They also claim 560 dead and wounded Americans, while U.S. Central Command puts a total at under 10. So does that mean it's risen since the 3 since I've been on there? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Keep me informed. Keep me informed, guys. And I believe the rest of these we've kind of depicted. Royal Jordanian Air Force M16s. Let me see. I'm looking at the chat. Any answers? Under 10 dead and wounded. So you think they're just referencing the wounded as opposed to the dead bulletproof? I'm assuming. In that one. Which again makes sense. Thank you, Jenny Faye. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm just curious if you guys have seen anything else since I've been on here. We've been on for an hour and a half, so I'm sure a lot's changed in an hour and a half. Yeah, it seems lumped together, and I think that was, 3 dead and 5 wounded. Yeah, so 8 makes sense. Okay, makes sense. Okay. This is another one here. Royal Jordanian Air Force F-16 armed with AIM-120 advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles and AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles seen drone hunting today over the skies of Jordan. Slow and low, baby. Slow and low. In that regard right there. But again, just different actions, different fucking videos coming from all over the conflict here. Footage published yesterday showed BGM-109 Tomahawk land attack missiles being launched from the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer USS Thomas Hudner at Iranian targets in support of Operation Epstein Fury, March 1st, 2026. Wild times, ladies and gentlemen. Wild fucking times. An Iranian one-way attack drone, likely a Shahed 136, filmed scoring a direct hit earlier Saturday. We showed this. This is one that I was referencing on with Hal yesterday. Just kind of wild to see. Definitely not a good look, regardless of what's been taking place by the Fifth Fleet, by the U.S. military forces or whatsoever, to see the Shahed low and slow coming in there, making direct impact. There's also been a lot of, I will say, there's been a lot of AI, obviously, videos going around depicting different things. So I've done my best to try to sift through the different bullshit videos that have been floating around social media. Some of them are pretty clearly AI. Others, you kind of have to look a little bit harder at them to kind of depict whether or not they are. But I feel like we've done a good job at kind of using accounts that only talk about the realities on the ground and what's been confirmed already, or at least what's been corroborated as far as, real video footage is concerned as well. So lots to dive into, lots to continuously talk about as far as that's concerned. But as far as updates, that's about all I have on that one. I'm sure there's going to be a lots to look at, lots to talk about as this continuously is ongoing, as the strikes and the death tolls continue to rise. This has been put out just a second ago, about 10 minutes ago. So what do you say if we can dive into this just for the last couple minutes of the show here, depicting a little bit more of what we might know or may not already know. Let's see if we can get a little bit more informed. Here's Preston Stewart. First U.S. losses confirmed as Iran war spreads. Some of this we may have already confirmed and talked about. Some of this may be new. So what do you say we dive into this?
Service members have been killed in action. And
everything
with Iran is escalating.
You know what else would be great?
More missiles are being fired. More getting through.
You know what works very well for a live stream? If you just a little bit of advice for people trying to run a podcast or a live stream, not so much a podcast, but live stream here on YouTube. If you're going to try to be showing a video and you're going to be talking about a video, what's good is if you actually put it on the screen for the people to see. That also helps. So again, just a little bit of advice here from a pro, clearly. All right, yeah, just kidding. So let me put this on your screen. Here's Preston Stewart again, talking about the first U.S. losses and maybe some other information that we may not have been privy to already. So let's dive into this. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, if you find a community here that you like being a part of, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, and it's only with your help and generosity that we continue to try to grow this platform, and we're able to continue to do this. So appreciate you guys.
Everything with Iran is escalating. More missiles are being fired. More are getting through. More countries are involved, and more casualties are coming out. In fact, we have the first American losses of the conflict announced just a few hours ago. U.S. Central Command put out a statement saying as of 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on March 1st, 3 U.S. service members have been killed in action and 5 are seriously wounded as a part of Operation Epic Fury. Several others sustained minor shrapnel injuries and concussions and are in the process of being returned to duty. As they mentioned, we don't have a unit, a branch of service, or a location to where those casualties occurred pending the notification of next of kin. Now, this is significant, and we're going to have to see if this changes U.S. calculations in the coming days. I would expect that we're going to see an uptick in domestic pressure to pull back, scale back, or even shut this military operation off entirely.
And he's right, because we've already seen an uptick, and I don't know, I'll let him go on and play. I don't want to look for this and pause too long, but there have been multiple instances that we talked about earlier in the show of protests, both for and against, not only on the streets of the United States, but elsewhere all over the world here that have been taking place. So again, the public pressure that he's speaking about, we've already seen that kick off as far as, protests on the streets in both directions.
Just a very different scenario for all of the operations carried out at any point around the world. The minute you lose service members, it changes the discussion. Venezuela, I don't know how many people would have been on board with that prior to the operation, but in retrospect, we can say it didn't cost any American lives. That's a different calculation. Again, this is going to change how people view what is happening in Iran right now. I would expect to see an increase in domestic pressure on the Trump administration starting today.
Hey, settle down.
Now,
in the
this
chat,
is part of
okay?
the Iranian.
Settle down with my tech inabilities in the chat out there. I'd like to see you try to run this show. Okay, why don't you pop on in, see how many buttons you could press to get this thing to fucking move. Jeez, everybody's got a comment in there. Everybody's got a comment. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I appreciate you. And yes, I know tech isn't the best thing that I have going for me. Very understood, which is even more reason why you should contribute to the show, because it's amazing that we can even do this every single day. But no, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Strategy is to not necessarily defeat the U.S. military, but wear us down. And one of the ways they're trying to do that is to force our allies in the region to ask us to stop. And we're seeing that in the Iranian strategy as they fired missiles and drones across the entire Middle East in the last couple of days. Intel Schizo over on Twitter put together a roll-up here. And if my math is right, we've got 13 different countries involved right now in this war. I mean, this is a full-on regional war. There's
again, just to depict how widespread this is and how talking about this as like an air campaign or a military operation, it's very Putin-esque of Donald Trump to be trying to get away and calling this a military operation. And we might as well just call it a special military operation at this point. This is call it what it is. It's a fucking war. That's exactly what it is. That is exactly what's happening right now. You don't have this widespread of action taking place over this widespread of territory with this many people fucking being killed and have it not be called a war. I'm sorry. So this whole Putin line of let's not call it a war so we can get around Congress. Let's just call it a special military operation ain't gonna fucking fly, Chief. Sorry.
Speculation that additional Middle Eastern countries might start participating in direct strikes against Iran. Right now, 13 nations have either attacked Iran or have been on the receiving end of Iranian attacks. That makes up the bulk of the numbers here. Of course, we have the United States and Israel carrying out direct strikes on Iran, Iran attacking the United States and Israel. In addition, Iranian munitions have impacted in Cyprus, Oman, Bahrain, Iraq, again, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and the United Arab Emirates. Spray and pray. They are firing drones and missiles everywhere. Again, this is part of the Iranian strategy. Try to get these countries to say, enough already. We can't do this. Ask the United States to dial this back. In total right now, and this is the low end, again, according to Intel Schizo, this was as of this morning. We've already seen additional launches since then, but as of this morning, 465 Iranian missiles and more than 357 total drones that have been launched, some intercepted, some made their way through to targets just in the first 24 hours of this operation. And they are causing casualties. All right, so we know the United States has now announced that 3 of our service members have been killed, 5 more wounded, and I think they said 20 or so have been concussed, light injuries that are in the process of making their way back into service. That shouldn't come as a shock when we see the videos of strike after strike getting through in a variety of locations.
How long before Donald Trump's downplaying the the concussive injuries sustained by our U.S. servicemen and women, like he did in previous strikes there? How long is that going to be? Before don't worry about them, they're fine. Don't worry about them and the long-lasting fucking head injuries and everything else they're going to have to deal with from now on. Don't worry about them.
No, if those service members were on a military installation or not when the strikes took place, right? There have been a number of strikes carried out against civilian infrastructure across the Middle East. And the UAE has now said that 3 people have died in strikes inside of their country, along with 58 that have been wounded. Kuwait says that 1 person was killed and 32 injured as a result of Iranian attacks so far. And Israel earlier today suffered a mass casualty event as an Iranian missile impacted in Beit Shemesh. The information here continues to come out, but the last update I saw was that 9 Israelis had been killed, more than 20 had been injured. However, search and rescue operations were still ongoing, and they expected both of them. Again,
same strike that we reported on earlier, and it's the same casualty report that we heard earlier, so it seems to be the latest of the reporting.
Numbers could increase. Now, that is the result of Iranian strikes so far, branching out, trying to hit anything and everything they possibly can. But U.S. and Israeli operations have not slowed, and I would argue they've picked up in intensity in the last 24 hours, or in the last 12 hours, really. Interesting one here is it looks like the United States may have flown B-2 bombers, stealth bombers across the Atlantic to carry out strikes inside of Iran and made their way back home. The initial,
again, because of the fantastic reporting done here at Blunt Politics, and how well we put together a show, a lot of this stuff we've already reported on here. Not to again break my shoulder and to tap myself on the back, but a lot of this stuff is out there and has been reported here, as we've talked about in the show today. But I do want to dive on just for a second here, if I can, because I want to get the aspect of some other people that is outside of our mainstream media coverage here that we would look at in the United States. What do the 3 old puppets in the balcony have to say about it? I'm curious what these guys here. This is from Sky News. Michael Clark reacts to Trump's call for Iranians to stand against the regime here. And they take a look at some of the footage coming in, and they kind of talk about how ridiculous it is for Donald Trump to be calling upon the Iranian people to do the dirty work, to pick up the bits and pieces, the loose ends here, as far as the regime overthrow is concerned. So just to kind of hear a different aspect of how people are looking at this, let's dive into this.
Which we can see here. Which is phone footage taken by someone in Tehran, and I mean, it just gives an indication of the terror that a bombardment like this creates.
Yes, people in the street don't know what to do. It creates lots of smoke and dust. Lots of sense of confusion, and just having what you assume to be foreign aircraft flying pretty low over your capital is very unsettling. It's like the sound of missiles, the sound of drones. I mean, that little bit of footage there, where the aircraft that we saw was flying pretty low, very low.
Yeah.
I'll skip on just a little bit here, because at the end of this, he talks about what Trump has
about 9:30, I think.
9:30 Tehran time, yeah.
And therefore, why was that? And it seems likely that because the Israelis are focused on the Iranian leadership, that they probably went, We've got a window of opportunity. It's suddenly opened up. We've got to go now because I can't otherwise explain why that would have happened.
But Sean mentioned it, boots on the ground. Really interesting what Donald Trump said in his video. he urged the people of Iran to come out onto the streets. This is your moment. You know, we're going to do this. We're going to reduce this government, and this is your opportunity.
And you might not get another one.
Exactly. And all regime change, all wars end up with some boots on the ground. Eventually. So who are the boots on the ground going to be? Certainly not going to be the Americans. It absolutely won't be the Israelis. Who are the boots on the ground? He thinks they'll be the population of Iran. They will be the boots on the ground. And he said, I call upon the IRGC, lay down your arms and you get complete immunity. Lay down your arms to who? Who is going to grant you complete immunity? Does he think that the IRGC are going to lay their weapons on the floor and the ordinary people of Iran are going to walk into government buildings and take over? Yeah. Well, what does he think is going to happen?
The June.
I mean, they're literally outright laughing at what Trump is saying, like what he suspects and expects to happen in this instance. They literally can't even contain the laughter at this point. And of course, it's no laughing matter, obviously, but as to the ridiculous nature of Donald Trump's comments, his wishes for the Iranian people, the maniacal fucking bloodthirsty, murderous kind of rhetoric that he's put out there so far, like it's fucking farcical. It is not real. It is just, people are looking at this like, who is this fucking clown and what is he doing to this world?
I mean, Netanyahu said, this is your moment.
Exactly, yeah. But how do they think that is going to work? I mean, it's just presidential gobbledygook.
Let me just ask you...
Presidential gobbledygook. Again, not the terms that I would come out with, but again, you can see how they are looking at this elsewhere around the world as being just absolutely asinine. The plans that have been set forth, the expectations that have been set forth by this regime, by the codependency of Israel on the United States here, and the ability and willingness for Donald Trump to do Benjamin Netanyahu's bidding, because it, again, takes all the focus off of him and the Epstein file. So whatever it takes, boss, I guess. But you can see here, people just all over the world just laughing outright at the president, at his ridiculous statements, at the expectations here, the plans, and basically how what we're undertaking here doesn't line up with what the goals stated are. You know what I mean? And there you just heard another one of the people that probably know more about this than I do saying it's definitely not going to be American boots on the ground, and it's sure as hell not going to be Israeli boots on the ground. So what the fuck is going to come next? Right? What is the expectations here? What do we expect to have? Are we honestly relying upon the the Iranian fucking people themselves to pick up arms and to storm the government and to hopefully somehow make sure like that takes place and goes to the ends in which the United States government would need that to go to in order to have an amicable government, to have a friendly government to associate with, to have a relationship with? I mean, it's fucking asinine to think what would need to take place in order for it to get to that level. It really is. So what do you say we get into thanking a few people here? I know we're a couple minutes early today, but there's going to be a lot to get through. There's going to be a lot to cover here in the days upcoming. Yesterday was supposed to be a day off. I don't know if you guys remember how excited I was Friday for a day off Saturday, and didn't get it. Didn't fucking get it. The day off that I was hoping for inevitably is when the war started. So that just goes to show how lucky I am as far as having days off and not being able to cover this stuff. One day off, I end up being twice on, once with once to cover it myself and once on with Hal last night. So it was actually more work put into covering the situation, getting covered up, getting up to speed on things than would normally be a regular day. So I do appreciate you guys sticking with me. I appreciate your contributions. Let's see if anybody was kind enough to throw anything over on the Venmo today. If not, we can always come into thanking everybody here on the YouTube that was nice enough. Oh, for fuck's sake, it makes me log in every time. I can't stand it. Yep, I'm going to log in. Just a second. Just a goddamn second. Why do you log me out? I'm the only person using this phone. Why you log me out in the fucking first place is beyond me. But, who's going to complain? Again, tech. It's my tech. All right, we're in. So I just want to say thank you first and foremost to Mike. Thank you, Mike. I'm not going to give out any last names. I'll say Mike Z is as far as I'll go. So I don't know how much you guys want me to divulge. But thank you so much for the $2 contribution, my friend. I really do appreciate that. Slava Ukraine, he says. So appreciate that, Mike. Thank you, Raja, as well. Thank you for the 3. Very much appreciate you. Any Karen and Roger. So thank you, Karen and Roger, for that 3. Thank you for the $5 contributions from James. Very much appreciate you, Jay, for all that you do. Good job, dude. Keep on pushing. Very much appreciate that. We'll throw that right in the old swear jar as it needs to go. So thank you so much to James. Thank you so much to Nancy, as always, too. Yep, my nephew, an Air Force captain, weapons specialist, moved closer to this conflict as we continue to talk about, the people in this chat that definitely have firsthand connections, to people in this region, whether it be through family or friends, coworkers, whatever it may be. So again, my heart goes out to you guys that are now kind of living with the anxiety of not knowing, kind of the severity or safety of people that you have in the area. So thank you very much, Nancy. My heart goes out to you, and obviously we're wishing for the safe return of everybody that you guys know here in the chat that is related and associated with the ongoing attacks over there. So thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Brian R, for the $10 contribution. Very much appreciated, my friend, for support. And that's what it does. It very much supports this show, goes a long way in supporting this show, dude. So I want you to know that much. Thank you to V Sawyer as well for the $20 contribution. Hello, friends lurking from the shadows with an abscess. F my life. Sorry about that. Again, I would talk more about it, but I am deadly afraid of the dentist and teeth things, and I'm definitely going to have to face that at some point. So I'll face it when it comes. It's not going to be today. So appreciate you. I feel your pain. Sorry about that. Thank you, Ricky, as well. Just wanted to throw in some money into the cuss jar early. Keep doing great things, and fuck this administration. I'm right there with you, Ricky. I second that on all regards. And I thank you so much for your contributions. And thank you to Peter R, Independent Media, with a huge $50 contribution. Thank you so much, Peter. That means the world to me. It goes a long way in helping support this channel and keeping us going as well. Thank you, Mark, as well. Mark K, I'll say, for info. Thank you for the $10 contribution there in the Bugs Bunny. So you know who I'm talking about. Thank you so much to you guys as well. And then next on the list would be Karen. Thank you so much, Karen, for your $5 contribution. Thank you so much, Roxanne, for your $20 contribution. Thank you so much, Colleen, for your $15 contribution. You guys are fantastic. Colleen says, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. Without you guys, it wouldn't matter what I was doing. So, and then Roxanne says, towards a 55-gallon swedge, because F them. I appreciate that. At some point, I'm going to have a huge just barrel behind me filled with money because it's a swear jar that I need to be filled for all of the violations that I know doubtly incur. And then thank you to everybody over the last couple of days, whether it's Roxanne, Yakov, Christopher, Candy, Claudia, all of you guys. Thank you so much. Belinda, thank you to Mark. Thank you to Elizabeth as well. All of you guys for contributing and helping me along the way. Garrett, Leslie, Damon. You guys have been fantastic. So very much appreciate you guys too can reach out just like they have over Venmo, through Venmo. All you got to do is take a picture here, send a buck or two. That's all I ask for. No substantial contributions are needed. $1 or $2 from everybody in the chat would go a long, long way. So I appreciate you guys, everybody taking the time out to do so. Let's get into thanking some people here over on the old Chatsky side of things, on the Tube of You side of things. Starting it off today is Wes. Thank you very much, Wes, keeping us on our toes as usual. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much, Wes, for the 333. Very much appreciate you. Machine Tools in the house. Appreciate you, Machine Tool, for the $10 contribution. As always, good to see you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything you do, both inside of this country and out. Goes a long, long way. Thank you to Ricky. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships, Ricky. Very much appreciate you going a long, long way to help this community with the 10 gifted memberships here. Please make sure we're reaching out to everybody in the chat that has reached out, that has contributed, whether they hit a milestone, whether it's a super sticker or a super chat, gifted memberships, whatever it may be, because those are the people that really, the backbone of this community, along with the YouTube memberships, along with the Patreon community that we have built over there. You guys really do help this show continue to go. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mark G, as always, for your gifted membership. Thank you, Luis. Good to see you, my brother, here for 23 months. Let's fucking go. All this bullshit to take away from the Epstein files. F the Republicans and anyone who voted for this piece of shit president. I will ad lib on that one, Luis, but I second all of that. I appreciate you, my brother. Congratulations, and thank you so much for being here for 23 months. Goes a long way. Machine Tool back in action. Let's go, brother. Appreciate you, man. 20 gifted memberships. Unbelievable, the contributions that you put into this channel. Just can't thank you enough. Very much appreciate that. Hope everybody's reaching out and thanking you as well as they're thanking Chewy. Chewy, my dude. Fucking thank you, brother. Shout out to you. Very much appreciated. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships, which is just a fantastic contribution to the channel. Again, from mine to yours, Chewy. Very much appreciated. Can't thank you enough. You, Machine Tool, everybody else that's been gifting like mad here. Thank you, Marsha, as well, for the 5 gifted memberships. Very much appreciate you. Please say hi to the pretty kitty. Give us some catnip for me. Can't thank you enough. Chewy's back at it again. Draft Baron. I'm in. I'm in. Draft that son of a bitch. Although I do believe he'd probably stick out in a foxhole. I got to say. Might be tough to get him to duck down in a trench. But again, maybe that's the goal. I don't know. But thank you, Chewy. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Steven, for the 15 months here. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah, you can get a hell yeah. I appreciate you. I know this is some tough stuff that we're covering here. It's in depth. It's heavy. But I do appreciate you guys sticking with me. So anytime you need a hell yeah, Steven, you just ask and I'll get you a hell yeah, brother. All right. Appreciate you. Thank you, Chris, as well. With absolutely no exit strategy, as we talked about earlier. Chris, you are 100% spot on here. It's a war in search of a strategy. Thank you for being here for 8 months. Thank you for contributing to the show in all the ways that you do. Thank you to Bethany for being here for 18 months. Thank you, dear. Very much appreciate you and all of your contributions, everything that you do all over this place, not just here, but in other communities as well. We do recognize and appreciate you guys for doing all of the work that is needed to be done. Thank you, JD, for the Ray Bork, going right in the swear jar as usual. Very much appreciate your contributions. Everything that you do for the show goes a long, long way, JD, as you know. Thank you, Ricky. Again, abso-fucking-lutely, Brian. Preach, brother. Preach. God, I wish I knew when I said what I was saying when you put that in, because if it was good, I wish I could remember it, but I can't. I apologize. But it was probably good. I appreciate it. If you thought it was good, Ricky, it was good. So I appreciate you and the $5 contribution. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you to Mark. Lindsey Graham equals old man desperate to be relevant. Neocon, a bloodthirsty warhawk, that motherfucking piece of shit. Oh, maybe that's what I was talking about. Maybe that's what I was talking about, Ricky. Maybe it was the old Lindsey Graham rant. I could be wrong, but it would definitely go in line with what I was talking about as far as that's concerned. So thank you to Lindsey. Thank you to Ricky. Thank you to Mark as well. Thank you to Romulan 007. Hello there, 007. Epstein Fury sounds like a Michael Baby movie. What's a Michael Baby movie? I don't know what a Michael Baby movie is, but I'm sure it sounds just like it. Oh, is Michael Baby? Is he the? No, he's not. Is he? Did he direct the Brad Pitt movie there? I'm not sure. I'm lost on that one. But 007, you're typically smarter than I am at all costs. So I appreciate you being here for 3 months. We appreciate your viewership. Thank you for being here. Keeping us on our toes there, 007. Appreciate you, brother. All right, the Luis, what's going on, dude? Thank you for the $12 contribution. Everything that Trump accused President Obama and Biden is what he's doing, so fuck everyone in this administration, and Republicans protect those in the Epstein files. Again, no notes. Totally corroborated and confirmed. Luis, thank you so much for your contribution, my friend. Romulan 007 back in action. Michael Bay movie. Okay, I'll get you. All right, makes sense now. All right, I wasn't following. Didn't know what Michael Baby was. Had me there for a second. I thought that might have been a British thing. Thought you might actually be 007 to understand that comment. But no, I appreciate you. And yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right. I follow what you're saying now. Appreciate you, Romulan. Thank you to Yakov as well for the $2. F Netanyahu, F Trump, genocidal fucks. And I am right there with you. As you know, Yakov, standing right there side by side with that comment. Shocky, what's going on? Appreciate you. Be prepared for anything as we try to be here at Blunt Politics, as I try to keep you guys, prepared for. I know anybody that's been watching the show wasn't surprised by this action, wasn't surprised that we're losing U.S. servicemen and women, as we told you to expect. It wasn't going to be the cakewalk. It wasn't going to be the Caracas cakewalk to go get Maduro by any stretch of the imagination. So, Shocky, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you keeping everybody on their toes. Appreciate you staying informed as well. Thank you, Bethany, again. Marsha, again, sending loves and hugs to everybody. Here's a request. Did you see my request? I did not, but that's the TIFF, so maybe I'm not supposed to be involved in that conversation. So you guys just talk away, I guess. I appreciate you, Masha, though. Thank you so much. Thank you to Tony. Apocalypse Now, says Tony. Pretty much what we're looking at right now. Again, with all the chaos being created all over this planet by this administration, by this regime, as I should say, here in the United States, it is definitely looking very similar to Apocalypse Now. So appreciate you, Tony. Thank you so much for your contribution. How to Live with a Smile. Thank you so much for the 1 gifted membership. Very much appreciate you. Love your name, by the way. Thank you so much for being here, contributing to the show. Thank you so much to Mark G again. Skytrans Fascism streaming service is coming soon. Appreciate that contribution, Mark. Stoneflower Dragon, SFG. Appreciate you. Insurance companies are canceling marine coverage for ships around the Persian Gulf region. That is having a big impact on oil prices. As I believe we referenced, like I said, some are canceling them outright. Some of the prices are going up exponentially. 100% right there, Stoneflower Dragon. So I appreciate you chiming in there. Thank you for the $5 contribution. Always good to see you. Thank you, Mark G. Again, Epstein update, please. That's what we need. We're looking for more coming out of that. More justice, more accountability. More people in handcuffs, more perp walks, more jail sentences, more other sentences, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Mark G, right there with you. Thank you, Jenny Faye, as well. One more month of support from my Bostonian friend. I can't thank you enough, Jenny Faye, for all that you've done. Thank you so much. I hope you're recovering well. Love and good vibes being sent to you from everybody here at the Blunt Politics Chat. Thank you for being here for 17 months. Very appreciative of that. Thank you, Jordan, for the 5. As always, what's going on, my man? Concerned Israel may use this as cover to slaughter more Palestinians. I believe there's already been some more attacks ongoing as far as the West Bank is concerned. My apologies for not having more of that ready to go. But again, with all of the coverage going on with the widespread attacks and with this, it's been tough to kind of boil it down to what we could or should not show. So we'll be doing more, obviously, digging into what's been going on. But I do believe that I have seen reports that there is some activity going on in the West Bank as this is concerned, as Jordan is rightly talking about here. So thank you, Jordan. Spot on as usual. Mark G back at it. News update. ICE agents storming Epstein Island. Probably not an update we're going to get anytime soon, unless I'm being fooled here. Because I have been on for somewhat 2 hours, and God knows how much the news changes in 2 hours. So appreciate you, Mark. Thank you so much for the 2. Masha for the $10 super sticker, as always. Thank you so much to Rocks for not only kicking ass as a mod in that chat, but also for your contributions. At 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific Sundays, Trek Politics with Mary Trump and Bob Seska. Fun, self-care, tech, I will help Brian. Call me. Again, I need all the tech help I can get, so I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you calling me out during the show, too. Assholes. No, thank you. I appreciate you, Rocks. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nola, as well. Thank you, Brian, for all your work. Bless you. Right back at you, Nola. Wouldn't be a show, wouldn't be a thing, wouldn't be as effective as it is without you guys viewing, without you guys contributing, without you guys sharing the show and out, liking, subscribing, all of that stuff, sending in the bits on Twitch, whatever it may be. You guys are the reason this continues to go, and other channels continue to go and grow. So you guys deserve all of the appreciation. All of the hard work is on you guys. So thank you, Nola, but right back at you. Thank you, Bobby Slacks, as always. Good to see you, my brother. Slava Ukraini. Love to you, brother. Love to all my fellow Bryantologists. Right back at you, my man. Thank you, as always, for all of your contributions. Your long-time viewership here on the show is very much appreciated. Hope you're having a wonderful day, as always. Thank you, Carol, little sister, Jay Nosowich, in the chat. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for the shout-out to each other. I always love when the chat gets along here. Always love the camaraderie between the chat. And then rounding it out today, Jim. Appreciate you, Jim. Thank you for the 1 gifted membership, as always. Thank you so much for your contributions. And I'll let you guys get out of here so you guys can support some other independent creators, some other people keeping you up to speed on the news and up to date on what's going on. I'm sure there's no shortage of things to keep you updated on, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about on Tuesday when we get back into it. If I don't pop on, God knows I might pop on tomorrow, if not later on today. If there's some, some breaking news, if there's some big events that we need to cover, I'll be sure to bring you the updates and the breaking news as much as I possibly can. So very much appreciate you guys, everybody on Venmo, everybody that reached out on via Super Chat, Super Sticker here on YouTube, everybody that sent in bits on Twitch, everybody watching on Facebook, and, of course, everybody watching here on YouTube. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. Keep your head on a swivel when you get out there. I know we have some protests coming up that we need to talk about as well. We'll fill you on some of the dates. I'm not sure if it's a Note Kings or a Hands Off. I'm forgetting at the moment, if not both, but we do have some other protests coming up that I'm sure these recent actions are going to stoke some interest and emotion in. So, all right, I'm out of here. I'll let you guys go. Thank you first and foremost to the mods. You guys are incredible. You guys have built an unbelievable community there. I can't thank you guys enough. And then obviously to the best chat on the internet, the best chat in the world, the Blunt Politics community, the Bryantologists here. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you Tuesday, if not later today, if not tomorrow, if not all 3. So, all right, I'm out of here. Thank you guys. Make sure you're liking and subscribing on the way out if you haven't done so yet. And again, this is the Blunt Politics Podcast. I'm Boston Brian. I really do appreciate you watching. And again, I'll catch you whenever I pop on. Hit that notification bell. I know sometimes it doesn't work. All the time it doesn't work. But again, hit that notification bell, and it should alert you whenever I go live. That way you don't have to continuously be searching out and seeing who's live and who's not. So appreciate you guys. Thank you, Jenny Faye. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Rocks. As always, thank you, Tiff. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all the mods in general. I really do appreciate you. Thank you, Pops. Thank you, everybody else that watches and shares and contributes and supports. It's a real support. It's a real joy to continuously come back to this community that we've built here and see the same people in here and see and continue it to grow and new faces and new names in there. So let's continue it on. Appreciate you, Billy, as well. I see you over there on Facebook with Diane as well. Thank you, guys. Stay feral. I shall try. Thank you, guys. All right, I'm out. I can only thank you enough. All right. Appreciate it. I'm out. Don't rely upon any of the information in the outro. It's all nonsense. It's all old, but just jam to the music. All right. I'm out of here.
For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. We're inviting Americans from all across the country to come. God bless the United States. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Here's a thought. Grow a sack, fill it with some balls.
The undisputed champion of beautiful, clean coal. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing.
What's up, Tom? What's up, Victoria? What's up, Bowie? Appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything you've done as well. What's up, John from Vegas? What's up, big guy? Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for everything. 1005. Love you guys. KD. God bless the community. Thank you so much. Nano. That's all right. It's better than being dropped. Pretty sure I was dropped. I'd rather be ugly than dropped. Thank you, guys. Make sure you hit that like on the way out, all right? If you're not subscribed, don't know if you're subscribed yet, no, you're not, hit that like button. One sec. I wanted to do this as well. I know I was going to forget to do this, and I didn't want to forget to do this, but I wanted to make sure to show you guys the congratulatory aspects that I wanted to show you to begin with. Let me throw this on the screen real quick. I know. I'm shit at this. I understand. Yeah, I always come back. I understand. Yeah. Shut up. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we do congratulate everybody and recognize that we have hit 75% of the NAFL goal. I mean, give yourselves a fucking round of applause there. I mean, just unbelievable work that you guys have been doing in trying to, get this out there in front of our, people that may be able to contribute in yourselves. Somebody did put in a substantial contribution here. As you can see, we'll scroll down. Let me see if I can get the screen clear for you guys. My apologies, so you can see what's happening. Get this out of the way because that's in my face. Yep. All right. So we got a substantial contribution here by Jorg, who put in a 779 euro contribution above and beyond all of these other fantastic contributions. So yes, we have reached 15,558 euro and 45 cents there. But please, that is 75% of the goal to 20,500. So I just wanted to obviously, show you that we've hit a major milestone in this goal, but we are 25% of the way to go. So let's see if we can get it there. Share it out. Tell some friends, tell some family members, tell some people with some deep pockets if you can. Order a patch, whatever you need to do. But I appreciate you guys for getting it to this point. It's amazing that we've been able to do this in such a short period of time with such a small, relatively small channel. Say, you know what I mean, comparatively to all of the bigger players that could have huge impacts on campaigns like this, but just don't care to do so. I'm not going to name any names, but you know who you are. Okay, maybe one day I'll name some fucking names. Maybe one day I'll burn the fucking bridges down and say fuck it. Right? Maybe that's the only way to get a fucking head in this game. Step on other people's fucking necks. All right. Anyway, but yeah, thank you so much for the 75% of the goal here. 25% to go. Again, over 15,500 euro raised. That's somewhere got to be damn near 17 grand at this point. I don't know the conversion rate at this point, but just wanted to say thank you. Round of applause to you guys. Show of appreciation to you guys. And it's all going to an amazing place, as you guys know, helping save lives, going right to the front lines to the 72nd Separate Mechanized Brigade. So unbelievable that you guys have made it this far. Let's get to 100%. All right. I appreciate you guys. I just want to make sure to congratulate you on that. Didn't want to forget. All right. I'm out. Appreciate you. I'll see you either later today, Monday with some breaking news, or Tuesday for the regular show. All right. Peace out. I mean, I typically do. Isn't that why you guys are here? You guys are here because I tell you how I feel at all fucking times. I heart is on my sleeve. And I don't wear that in my sleeve. I didn't see this earlier. I do thank everybody else for it as well. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Be here without you. Appreciate it.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Call them dumps, big massive dumps.
You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become an expert on guns.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Bad news, bad news. Even when it's good news, it's bad news.
Where you going? Nowhere. It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful. Give yourself a round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely.
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. We're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys. But it was too late.
He says, wrecked him, damn near killed him. In the hell was that all about?
Here you got a little chubby going there.
Taking him back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses.
For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands. Referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.